And welcome back to Lambeau Field. I'm Pam Oliver. Packers head coach Mike McCarthy told me that the decision for Aaron Rodgers to wear that brace was made yesterday in practice. He tried it out. He said it was okay. It was comfortable for him, so he's going to wear it. Now, McCarthy guesses the last time Rodgers wore that brace was back in high school. Now, Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer, he told me that watching Rodgers in practice in the pregame warm-ups, he couldn't tell much about the quarterback's mobility, but he'll see real soon how he is at real speed. Back to you.
Pam, thank you. That's very interesting. And to see Mike Zimmer in his 5th year as Vikings coach, he knows Aaron Rodgers gone against him plenty of times before. Mike McCarthy in his 13th year as a coach of the Packers. And you know what? We're going to see Aaron Rodgers right away because the Vikings won the toss. They deferred. That means the Packers will get the ball as we get ready to go from Lambeau Field. 80 degrees, unusually warm. That's Ty Montgomery back to receive, and the ball falls off the tee. So we'll have to wait one more moment for Daniel Carlson, the rookie. He's kicking off.
This crowd is revved up. They booed the ball falling off the tee. All right, don't build up our crescendo and then kill it.
The 116th meeting, Vikings, Packers. And here we go from Lambeau. Montgomery will watch it go out of the end zone, and we will see Aaron Rodgers, who, look at this, last 60 games at home, incredible, 51-9, hurt the knee, went out on a cart last Sunday night, came back in the second half and rallied the Packers from 20 down, and now here he is a week later, as Pam told us, with the brace.
And you hear the ovation, and it's not just because he's a great player, but when he's on the field, they have nothing but hope. They know they can win any game he plays.
Mike McCarthy told us expect a lot of shotgun, a lot of pistol today to help with the mobility of Rodgers in that knee.
See if the Vikings cornerbacks play tight to start the game.
And he starts in the shotgun with 5 wide. Blitz coming, get it out quick, coming to the near side. It's Williams, the running back. Jamal Williams makes the catch. And Charles, I'm wondering if you expect a lot of short passes here throughout this game with that knee being a factor.
I do, and that means the wide receivers have to win their routes really fast, okay? That means you're going to see the Vikings oftentimes either in press coverage or a little bit closer than normal because they expect their pass rush to get to Rodgers because he most likely can't get out of the pocket his normal way.
Remember, he's so good at ad-libbing, but he's pretty good when he doesn't ad-lib as well. Second down. They will throw it and get it out of the flat with a good move. It's Randall Cobb on a career high in receiving yards last year. Makes the catch, makes the move, and he's got a Packers first down and a gain of 14.
And even on the short passes, what you have to do is get right on the receivers and tackle. And right away, Randall Cobb makes Jaron Kearse miss and picks up big yardage for a first down. Notice the first 2 plays of the game, Kevin. Aaron Rodgers identified Harrison Smith in coverage and Jaron Kearse in coverage. He didn't attack a corner yet.
3 tight ends for the Packers this time. This time it's Williams. Gets a carry. Big hole. Jamal Williams out near midfield. He's going to pick up 8 yards.
How about the blocking you get inside? 64 on the right is Justin McCray. 63, Corey Linsley. And pulling around from the backside is 65, Lane Taylor. And they created an excellent gap for Jamal Williams to get upfield. He's a hammer. If he gets enough carries, he'll probably get it 17 to 20 times today.
That's Jimmy Graham who's lining up, and now he's going to go in motion on the right side of the line. 2nd and 2. They'll run it. Williams. First down. Well, the Packers on the move on this opening drive. As this Vikings defense #1 overall in the league last year. Remember, besides the storyline of Rodgers playing, Charles, there's also the storyline of Rodgers got hurt against Minnesota last year and a vicious hit. He got taken down, broke his collarbone. Anthony Barr. That's the guy that did it the first meeting last year. Rodgers came back to play one game against Carolina, try to get him in the playoffs. It didn't work. Essentially cost him the year. So those two facing off for the first time since that.
Yeah, perfectly legal hit by Anthony Barr, but it ended pretty much Aaron Rodgers' season.
Rodgers to throw. Has time. Lets it rip, and it's dropped. He had Adams wide open, and he just couldn't hang on.
And you know, when your quarterback is hurting, what happens to the other 10 guys? They want to elevate their game too. And the offensive line is doing that early, really protecting Aaron Rodgers. No one near him. A little bit high with the pass, but it's one Davante Adams has to come down with, and he knows it.
Hey, stupid! 5-4.
On the fake, pressure, Rodgers in trouble, and down he goes. Everson Griffin got there, so did Sheldon Richardson.
So Everson Griffin picks up his first sack of the game, right? And so you take a look, and you'll see that Sheldon Richardson, 93, got there first. And then Everson Griffin, number 97, on the backside. And that's what the Packers were worried about. Sheldon Richardson, and inside getting that push with Linval Joseph, number 98.
Not easy getting up wearing that brace on that left knee. So now a 3rd and 17.
319!
And play clock was winding down. So Rodgers is so good with that cadence. Tried to get Minnesota to move. Doesn't happen. And the Packers will use their first timeout here on the opening drive. Well, some facts about these two teams going at it. First matchup September in Lambeau since 08. It's been a while. They usually make these later because they know they're so important. 45th different quarterback matchup since 1970. Cousins playing in his first game in Green Bay. He's been here before, hasn't started before. And then Rodgers against the Vikings. He's been excellent. He is against most teams, but 111 rating for him against this crew. Last time Minnesota was here last year, Rodgers was out. Minnesota shut out Green Bay in December. Slight difference. What was that game? About
minus 2.
And
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
80 today. 3rd and 17 for Green Bay. 4-man rush. Rodgers going to dump it off. Williams almost falls down trying to make a move, and that's not going to get anything done. It's Linval Joseph was there to snuff it out, and the Packers will have to punt.
And Mike Zimmer's not only the head coach of the Vikings, but the defensive play caller, and he played for that short screen pass by Green Bay by just dropping 7 into coverage and rushing 4 and saying, you can throw it underneath, we'll rally and make the tackle. And the Vikings are now getting off the field.
It's a rookie punter for Green Bay, J.K. Scott from Alabama, who they drafted in the 5th round. And Marcus Sherrill is back to return for the Vikings. He has returned 5 for touchdowns in his career. Fair catch by Sherrill, and he makes it at about the 7. So now it's Kirk Cousins, who won his debut last week, starting for the first time in Lambeau on the field next. First quarter from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, and the Vikings will have their first possession. Packers moved it but then had a punt. And now Kirk Cousins making his first start ever at Lambeau Field. Said he was excited, was here once before with Washington, met Bart Starr, but now he's playing in this one. Fake to Cook. Cousins on the roll, looking, and he's going to dump it off to Morgan, who slices his way out across the 20 for a first down. Kirk Cousins looking, and it moves the chains for Minnesota.
They end up taking Carlson right there, the tight end, and he acts like he's blocking. Right there, you see him blocking. And then what does he do? Oh, wow, I'm open. Here I am. He was really supposed to be blocked totally on that play, and I bet you Cousins verbally yelled to him to get his head around, because Carlson wasn't looking in that direction at all.
Why
Packers show blitz. Here they come. Cook in trouble. Cook is swarmed. Penalty flag flies into as the play is about to end. Clay Matthews really blew that play up. Tony Corrente is our referee today, and looks like this is going to be on Minnesota.
And on the previous pass catch, that was David Morgan. Let me make sure I get his name correct.
Holding. Offense number 69. This penalty will be assessed. Half the distance for the goal. Repeat first down.
That's on Rashad Hill, the right tackle. And Charles, one thing that Mike Zimmer told us when we talked to him yesterday, he's like, we have got to do a better job. He loves to run.
Yes.
He's like, we've got to do a job getting to the second level.
In order to get to the second level, you've got to block the first level. And that's where they had the problem last week. DeForest Buckner wrecked things inside for them. So this week what they're focused on is number 76, Mike Daniels, for the Green Bay Packers. He's the one they think can wreck things inside. They've got to isolate and block him first before they can climb to the linebackers.
First and 20 after the penalty. Cousins going to get it to Diggs. Trying to get to the edge. Alexander, the rookie, was over there in a hurry, and he's not going to get anywhere. We've got our first game break of the day. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. We go to Tampa Bay, and Ryan Fitzpatrick coming off that monster performance from last week, picking up right where he left off to Deshaun Jackson. A 75-yard touchdown has his team up early, 7-0. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
Carissa, thank you. So, wow, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Meanwhile, there was the trainers went out on the field. Kenny Clark, the nose tackle for the Packers, who had a heck of a night last week against the Bears. As you can see, walking off, but a little gingerly. And he's tended to. That'll bring up, by the way, a 2nd and 19.
And he's a huge key to the Packers' run defense. They weren't excited about what they put on the field last week against Chicago. Gave up too many yards running the football. Bears ended up running for 139 yards, so they want to make sure they shut that down. It looks like Muhammad Wilkerson, number 96, has also moved inside a little bit to help take up some of Kenny Clark's duties.
Here's Cousins. Cook on the sweep. Cook gets the edge. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so at least they'll have a somewhat manageable third down, although a 3rd down and 10. This Packers defense, they looked a whole lot different in week 1 than they have in honestly quite some time, because they've got a new defensive coordinator, and that's Mike Pettin. Of course, remember him, the former head coach of the Browns. He had the #1 D in the league with the Jets. And now Green Bay on defense, what are they doing? They mix it up with Pettin.
They'll go with 6 defensive backs. He likes to get exotic on 3rd and long.
Here's Cousins. 4-man rush. Time. Now the pocket collapses, and so does Cousins. A Packers sack as Alexander from the corner combined with Reggie Gilbert. So one of those DBs likes the blitz, apparently.
Yeah, number 23, Jair Alexander. And he ends up coming from the slot. And he has time to get rid of the football downfield and avoid the sack. But he holds it just 1 count too long. And Alexander able to get to him. Also, the other rookie DB, Josh Jackson, number 37, helping out.
And so each team had a sack on their opening possession. Matt Wild to punt it. Randall Cobb waiting back deep for Green Bay. They get close. They block it. It's recovered for a touchdown. Josh Jackson, the rookie. Geronimo Allison blocked it. Jackson recovered. 6-0 Green Bay.
How about that? Geronimo Allison is one of their top wide receivers. He comes right up the middle and gets in there for the pump block and the initial score for Green Bay. Look at the effort, laying out with one hand to almost take the ball off the foot of Matt Wild, the punter from Minnesota. And there's Josh Jackson, who's a natural ball hawk on defense, collects it for the score.
Heck of a way to start for Josh Jackson. You talked about it. He had 8 interceptions last year in college. He scores a little bit different in his first Lambeau Leap. Puts the Packers in front. There's Ron Zook, the special teams coordinator for the Packers. He's feeling pretty good right now because a block punch, and then Josh Jackson, the rookie. That was Allison who blocked it. Jackson, the rookie, jumped up, grabbed it, fell in the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. Mike Hughes will take it on out of the end zone. Mike Hughes, good see. Mike Hughes, electrifying return all the way out to the 45. Let's take a look back. So one good special teams play and then not so good. But here's the ball.
There's Geronimo Allison, and he's the guy who's going to rush. But watch right there, coming inside. So here's the scheme. Now as he comes in, the up back has to move there to block him, and that allows Allison to come up the middle. And once that happened, Josh Jackson, who had come inside and attracted the attention, he ends up picking up the touchdown.
12 likes it. But another chance at good field position for Kirk Cousins after that great return. Kenny Clark, by the way, back in for Green Bay. That's good news. Here's a screen to Thielen. Thielen has a couple blocks, and he moseys his way out to the 49-yard line. Adam Thielen, nothing but rave reviews when you talk to everyone around the league about him. I mean, you talk to John DeFilippo. I mean, what did he say about his route running ability?
He says elite. Elite. That's the word. We don't normally use that when we talk about ranking quarterbacks. Elite. A Division II player out of Minnesota State who improves each and every year and went to the Pro Bowl after last season.
91 catches last year at a 100-yard game last week. Fake to Cook. Cousins gonna let it rip far side of the field, and he's got a completion. It's Diggs. Stephon Diggs makes a move, and he's out of bounds around, they're gonna say, the 32-yard line, as that was working against Tramon Williams.
We just mentioned Adam Thielen and his route running. Watch 14 at the top of your screen, Stephon Diggs. He's another elite route runner. But a nice job creating the separation away from Tramon Williams, and Cousins delivers accurately outside, and Diggs with an extra move picks up a couple of extra yards.
Diamond.
3 tight ends for Minnesota on a 1st and 10.
180.
It's Dalvin Cook up the middle. Dalvin Cook, nice run. And he's down to the 25, a pickup of 7 on 1st down.
And a really nice push from the offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. Watch these guys up front work. Remmer 74 at right guard. In the middle is Brett Jones 61. Look at how he's engaged right there. And getting downfield with 79, Tom Compton, to create the space for Dalvin Cook to get through the first level and get into the secondary.
Cook again, right side, met with resistance. Surges forward. He's going to be a little short of a 1st down, though. Blake Martinez was there first. For these Minnesota Vikings, last year defense was unbelievable. And you know what? We tried to tell you a story, but the Vikings are hurrying to the line. So we'll tell you later. 3rd and 1. A fake to Cook. Pressure on Cousins. Throws to Rudolph. And Kyle Rudolph should have it, I believe, from our vantage point. 1st down. Let's see. Waiting on the signal. And he does. 1st down.
And you see Mike Zimmer there. You know what that call on 3rd and 1 told me? That Mike Zimmer told his offense coordinator, John DeFilippo, that we're in 4-down territory. You've got a 4th down. So try and hit something in the pass, and if we don't get it, we'll come back and get it on 4th down. Didn't need it. Picked it up there.
Latavius Murray comes in the game at running back. Speaking of DeFilippo, he said that he wants to play him more this week. He had a good game subbing for Cook last week. Give it to Murray. Stutter step. And Murray inside the 20. Now let's try and finish the story, Charles. I was trying to tell you before. We were interrupted by Kirk Cousins. Again, their defense last year, #1 in just about everything. They were fantastic. Of course, championship game got blown out in Philadelphia, so what'd they do? They signed Kirk Cousins to a big year. 3 years. He had a nice debut last week against the 49ers. They brought in John DeFilippo from the Eagles, who really is one of the great minds in this league at 40 years old. Dalvin Cook, heavily involved last week. Sheldon Richardson, the one new piece on defense, already has been a factor today. That's the Vikings in a nutshell. Here they are, 2nd and 8, down 7-0 in Green Bay. Cousins to throw, rolling over the middle, and he's got a completion. It's Thielen. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and short. And this is interesting. As the Vikings are knocking on the door, the Packers have really struggled in this area. They've allowed 50 consecutive scores on the opponent's trips to the red zone. And meanwhile, Cousins said that was the #1 thing on his mind this week, getting better there.
Yeah, because last week the Vikings stalled a lot outside of the red zone. Never even got there to try and put points on the board. Now that they're there, the Vikings have worked on this all preseason. A real emphasis on putting it in the end zone.
On 3rd down, it's Cousins firing, complete, touchdown, Laquan Treadwell. His first NFL touchdown.
Watch Laquan Treadwell. They essentially used him like a tight end on this play, and he gets inside of Kevin King, the corner of Green Bay. And after a week against San Francisco in the opener, where Laquan Treadwell had 2 drops and had been pressed for his job as the #3 receiver, he responds well on this drive for Minnesota.
We are tied. They've been waiting for that. He's a former #1 pick. He's had 2 very subpar seasons, and here his first NFL touchdown. What an answer by Minnesota. Tied up at 7 at Lambeau.
Welcome back to Green Bay, set up by a big kick return by Mike Hughes. Laquan Treadwell rang the bell for Minnesota. Tough week in the season opener, 2 drops, 21 catches his first 2 years in the league, a #1 pick. He was challenged by the Viking staff this week to pick up his game. And guess what? 2nd drive, he gets in the end zone.
It's a welcome sight for Minnesota. And don't forget the kick return from Mike Hughes. That really set them up after feeling bad. You know, the block punt got the Vikings going. Hey, we've got 2 huge college football games Saturday on Fox. Number 15, TCU, taking on in-state rival Texas. And then it's number 6, Wisconsin, battling Iowa in a Big Ten showdown on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Yeah, Texas big win over USC last night. TCU played Ohio State really tough, but a tough loss for Bucky Badger at home against BYU.
And so we'll see the 2nd series for Rodgers and that knee. Ty Montgomery, a running back right now. Rodgers fakes it to him, will throw. He senses he has to get rid of it, and he does. And that's an interesting thing. The one thing is he's so good on the run. He said the one difference is I got to know where I'm going to go with it because he can't run.
He can't run, so he has to know where his escape hatches are, not with his legs this time, but where he can accurately throw the football and intentionally ground it without getting flags.
Told us he was annoyed that he got intentional grounding against the Bears when he came back on Sunday night.
Looks like he learned his lesson from Sunday night to Sunday afternoon. Look at the tight coverage down at the bottom of the screen with Xavier Rhodes right there.
Quick throw, far side of the field, and he's got a catch. That's the rookie, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, his first catch in the NFL, working against Trey Waynes.
So you had the tight coverage down here, tight coverage here. So where did Aaron Rodgers go with the football? He went to the top side of the screen. Look at the coverage there and the gap that Trey Waynes has given. Trey Waynes hurt his knee last week against San Francisco, and because he plays opposite the All-Pro Xavier Rhodes, he gets plenty of action on his side of the field.
Third down and 7. Here comes Kendricks. Rodgers evades, going to run, diving forward, and I think he's got it. That's not what we expected to see. Rodgers running on that gimpy knee, and he picks up a first down.
So all with the talk prior to the game was, how do you keep Aaron Rodgers upright in the pocket because he doesn't have his normal mobility? Well, there's no doubt he doesn't have that, but he still has the grit, the determination, and enough to pick up the first down. So Aaron Rodgers sending a message to Minnesota that he's not going to be just a sitting duck in the pocket today.
Back in the pistol formation here. They will run it. It's Montgomery. Good seam. Ty Montgomery makes a man miss into Vikings territory. 16-yard run for Montgomery and a first down.
And what the pistol formation gives you is the ability to still run downhill. But look at what he gets there with the gap that he ends up getting, and allows the vision to get upfield. A missed tackle by Sendejo, 34, before Harrison Smith brings him down. But you can get the downhill runs out of the pistol, out of the shotgun. There'll be more side-to-side running game.
First down. Good run it again. Montgomery again. Good stiff arm. And another. Good work from Ty Montgomery using the stiff arm. We've got a game break once more. Check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. So Chiefs up 7-0 in this one when Patrick Mahomes throws a 19-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce, his second in the first quarter, and he was coming off that 4-touchdown performance last week. They're up 14-0.
Carissa, so my math says 6 touchdowns for the rookie in, not even a game and a half already. That's not too shabby. Here it's a 2nd and 4 for Green Bay.
He got a single yardage record at Texas Tech, a race last night. He's playing like he wants it back, even though he's in Kansas City.
Might be the last play of the quarter. Williams stutters outside, first down. Well, the Packer run game is getting going here as the first quarter will wind to an end, and a fun one here at Lambeau. Getting the big fellas up front going. Good start. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. They got some special teams play. Vikings came right back. We're tied at 7 after 1. Back to Green Bay, along with Charles Davis, Pam Oliver. I'm Kevin Burkhardt as we start the second quarter. Tied at 7. See the numbers. Packers on this drive getting the run game going here, and actually started with their quarterback.
Yeah, 45 yards and running the football early. We're seeing a lot of determination from the offensive line in this one.
And a first down with Rodgers to throw it. Here comes Hunter on the pressure. Lets it go to Jimmy Graham, but nowhere near him, and it's incomplete. So it's interesting, just the subtle changes, right? Going out of the pistol, out of the shotgun, and the run game. Maybe we didn't expect that. Yeah,
I think that Minnesota came into this game. In fact, I know they came into this game thinking that their defensive front, one of the better ones in the league, had an advantage against the Packers' offensive line. In the early going, the Packers' O-line is controlling the line of scrimmage. That's allowing the run game and play action, so Aaron Rodgers isn't getting hit very often.
Four-man rush. Rodgers waiting, rolling, firing, complete. He's got Graham. And Jimmy Graham has a gain of 8. That's his first catch here today. They're looking to get him involved a little bit more. Just 2 catches last week.
And they are so used. Watch Graham 80, and he breaks out. But they never give up on a route with Aaron Rodgers, even with a bad wheel. See how Graham stays alive, keeps running a route, finds some open space, and Rodgers locates him downfield. If you're a Green Bay receiver and you ever stop on a route, you know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do? Wave you off the field. Give me someone else. You stay alive, he finds you.
Brings up a 3rd and 2. Pressure. Rodgers lets it fly. Cobb! Incomplete, but flags fly everywhere. So let's see what the penalty is. Mackenzie Alexander had coverage on Randall Cobb.
Right here. So watch Randall Cobb fakes upfield, and then there's a grab by Alexander. Number 20, and that's what the flag came from.
And an automatic.
If you're going to grab someone, it needs to be in tight quarters, because once you get extended, they can see your arm and your hand grabbing cloth. They're going to get you every time. Alexander missed last week with a bad ankle. Back for this one.
Let's look how Rodgers is dealing with that left knee. Almost threw that with his left leg off the ground.
And fortunately, where the power comes from will be from the back foot driving. He just didn't want to drive the front foot into the ground too hard himself.
So after the holding penalty, it's a first down and 10. They will run it. Williams up the middle. And a short gain on first down. You know, Brian Bulaga, you know, we talk about knees and you talk about, of course, quarterbacks or running backs if they're coming back from a major injury. How in the world is Brian Bulaga back? He started week 1. He tore his ACL last November. I mean, if this was another skill position, we'd be raving about
That's what we talked about on our way to the meeting with Brian Bulaga. Remember when Adrian Peterson made his return? We raved about it. An offensive lineman, we kind of shrugged our shoulders. It's an incredible return by Bulaga.
And he's played well so far. First half, a little tough, but their line in the second half against the Bears was good. Rodgers, he's got time, a lot of it. He throws, and it's complete for a first down inside the 10. It's Adams, who was working on Rhodes. And Bulaga in that line gave Rodgers a lot of time to throw.
So we just talked about Brian Bulaga, right? Number 75. And what he did in returning from knee surgery. Look what he's doing, keeping his quarterback clean. Just took the pass rusher right out of the play. Looks like Stephen Weatherly, number 91. He has no chance to get back to the quarterback. Look at that. Thanks for the protection, big guy up front.
Davante Adams, the wideout split to the top of the screen. First and goal. Rodgers looking that way. Adams has it. Adams made some move. Adams, touchdown!
We talked at the top that you have to win your routes early. Well, you better be ready for the football. That ball's out of Aaron Rodgers' hands before Davante Adams is able to get his head around coming out of his break. But he works with Aaron every day, so he knows that the ball can be on top of him at any moment. Makes his cut, ball's in his chest, and the Packers score again.
And Green Bay has taken a 14-7 lead. Davante Adams with another touchdown for him. He does that well, second of the year, and it puts the Packers in front here at Lambeau. It's a heck of a drive by the Packers, and then Davante Adams with his 24th touchdown since 2016. That's the most in the league. He is a touchdown machine, and I know you like the job that offensive line did on that drive for Green Bay.
Yeah, it was fitting we showed them first. They made it happen in the run game, setting up the play action and quick game for Rodgers through the air.
And so now it'll be a chance for Cousins to answer with 12:28 to go in the half. Charles, families affected by Hurricane Florence urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today. Just go to redcross.org or text Florence to 90999. That gives $10 to American Red Cross Hurricane Relief. Obviously thinking of all the people and all the horrible flooding that's going on down in the Carolina area the last few days.
Yeah, I've got excellent friends, family in that area. They've all assured me they're okay so far, but boy, what a tough stretch for everyone.
So now it's Cousins' turn to answer Rodgers on a first down. Four-man rush, but he's got time, and he fires complete. It's Rudolph over the middle, and he picks up 12 and a first down. Another game break. Let's check in with Carissa.
Oh, hey, it's me again, and Patrick Mahomes is scoring another touchdown. They were already up 14-0 when he connects with Kareem Hunt. He's got his team up 21-0, you guys. Kevin?
Chris, and you keep coming to us with Patrick Mahomes stuff, you're going to be the president of his fan club.
Oh, my goodness. He's got 7 touchdowns on the year. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins has been perfect today. 8 of 8, 72 yards, making his first ever start at Lambeau. Murray, Latavius Murray, good hard run. Man, I love watching him run. And we get a penalty.
Illegal
Hang on, at the end
formation.
of the play.
Offense number 71 did not report as an eligible player. 5-yard penalty. We take first down.
Get it on Riley Reef, the left tackle.
So with him not reporting as an eligible player, that's an extra offensive lineman in the game.
Yeah.
So they went in there, heavy run formation. got what they wanted because it was a nice run for Murray, but now called back because he didn't report.
Was saying he's so much fun to watch run. He's just a north-south guy, and you remember he was a star with the Raiders.
Listen, he went to the Pro Bowl, over 1,000-yard season, and last year led Minnesota in rushing after Dalvin Cook got hurt.
Hey, pretty big, closer.
Vikings told us they wanted to get Murray the ball more, even though they love Dalvin Cook. He stays in, 1st and 15. Here is Cousins with time over the middle. It's another catch to Morgan, who gets across the original line of scrimmage. So the Vikings, with Pat Shurmur leaving to coach the Giants, they hired John DeFilippo, 40 years old, came over from the Eagles where he was the quarterback's coach. But for 1 year, he was an offensive coordinator for the Browns under the guy who's currently opposing him today, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay, Mike Pettine. And he was going through his phone about a certain text message from Pettine.
Yeah, Pettine sent him a message saying, here we go. The two Paisans getting ready to go at it. Let's see who wins this one.
He said, I will stop there. I won't read you the third line of the text. So a couple of friends going at it today. It's Murray with a pretty good hole out to the 42. And that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Interesting. We just talked about John DeFilippo, the offense coordinator for Mike Pettine in Cleveland. You notice that he's staying patient. Talk about DeFilippo in this game. They were well behind the chains to start this drive, and he comes right back with 2 running plays to set up a 3rd manageable.
Third and 5. Looked like a blitz. They drop out. Cousins letting it fly far sideline. Incomplete. Good coverage. Kevin King was right there with Stephon Diggs.
Tremendous coverage. Top of your screen, number 20, Kevin King. This is actually a teaching reel for coverage on the corner. King at 6'3", 200 pounds. Diggs at 6 foot tall. King pins him to the sideline, then obscures his sight with his body. The length of Kevin King wins that battle.
And so that will result in a punt as Randall Cobb waits back. Remember, they blocked the last one from Weil. That resulted in a Packers touchdown. Here he's got time and he gets it off. High deep kick, sails way over Cobb's head and way into the end zone. Not exactly what Minnesota wanted there. And so Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers back on the field. They have got the lead. It's been a back and forth affair here in Lambeau. Couple of leaps. Vikings on the board too. Fun one. By State Farm. Great shots here at Lambeau Field. Always special, especially when you put a couple of rivals together with the Vikings and the Packers. 80-degree day nonetheless. Green Bay's lead 14-7 and their football. And Rodgers going to hand off. It is Williams, and he is stymied behind the line of scrimmage. Let's go down to the field with Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Kevin. I spoke to Packers wide receiver Davante Adams before the game, congratulated him on his success as a wide receiver in the league, but he doesn't really think he gets the respect that he's due. He wants national respect and to have his name mentioned when you talk about the best in the game. He doesn't feel like he's quite there yet, but I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers might disagree.
It's a good point, Pam. You know, just a couple of years ago, he was just shy of 1,000 yards receiving in the season. You string a few of those together, you'll get all the respect you look for.
Second down, a little floater from Rodgers, far side, incomplete. He was going for Adams right there. And on Adams, you think about it too, Charles, he had 74 catches, 885 yards last year when Rodgers didn't play most of the year. Here is the thing. This is the trio for Green Bay, and they all were monstrous in the win over Chicago on Sunday night.
But here's the thing. That's what you're looking for versus the Vikings. Yards after catch. That's what you're looking for. And the Packers put it up big against Chicago.
3rd and 10, and there's movement for Green Bay. I think it was Justin McCray.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. It'll remain 3rd down.
He had a couple of holding penalties last week against the Bears. Picks up his first today.
And despite... So there's the penalty on McCray that you identified correctly, KB. How about today in their passing yardage for Green Bay? We just noted the yards after catch and how important it is. 27 of their yards and their 44 passing yards. Those are yards after catch.
3rd and 15. Blitz coming. Quick to Jimmy Graham. He's got nowhere to go. Vikings all over that one. Mackenzie Alexander, Danielle Hunter were there, and a punt for Green Bay is coming up.
Aaron Rodgers told us that the 7 guys, 8 guys on the line of scrimmage is what can cause some problems for you in Green Bay. Are they coming? Are they backing off? They showed all-out blitz and then dropped into coverage. So the quick throw to Jimmy Graham that should solve the blitz actually is throwing into coverage. There's Alexander 20. And look at that, coming out of the line is number 99, Danielle Hunter.
J.K. Scott, booming kick. This thing's up in the stratosphere. Sherrill's back to receive it. What a punt. That's the rookie from Alabama. They spent a 5th-round draft pick on him. 64-yard punt. Hang time to the moon. Vikings ball. Both quarterbacks playing well today, and Kirk Cousins has been very, very good. We talked about his first start here at Lambeau. He was excited, but he hasn't shown nerves.
No, he has not. In fact, he said to us, it's a lot like the Hoosiers thing. You know, still the same dimensions, right? Same field, even though there's great mystique here.
Here are the Vikings. Cook in trouble, and he's got nowhere to go. He got hit in the backfield by Mike Daniels and had no chance after that.
Let's take a good look right there. Mike Daniels, number 76, working on Brett Jones, number 61, the center for Minnesota. What did we say at the top of the game? Who do you have to block on Green Bay's front? Number 76, Mike Daniels. Otherwise, he can wreck your play. And that's exactly what he did on first down.
Keep in mind, there you see number 61, Brett Jones. He's not the starting center for Minnesota. They just got him before the year because Pat Elflein, who's a really good player, is still recovering from off-season surgery. So the line not at full strength. Cousins, trouble in his face. It's Cook in stride. Dalvin Cook across the 40. That was a perfect catch and run. And it moves the chains for Minnesota with a gain of 24.
And a really good read by Kirk Cousins to understand what the matchups were. Because Cook, number 33, comes out of the backfield, and he is guarded by a linebacker, number 56, Corey Toomer. So Kirk Cousins surveyed the defense, saw the matchup he wanted, and as soon as Cook got a sliver open, put the ball right between the 2 threes.
Elliott to 44.
Murray in the game in the backfield now. They fake it. A lot of time. Cousins firing deep. There is nobody home. Obvious miscommunication. Stephon Diggs was within 25 yards. Game break time. Back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. We're going to check in on the NFC South here. Panthers Falcons tied at 3 when Cam Newton connects with Jarius Wright for this 5-yard touchdown. Panthers up 10-3. Kevin, Charles, and Payne.
Carissa, we've been busy today. We appreciate it, though. A lot going on. Here is 14-7 Packers.
Hydrate, Carissa. Long day. Plenty of action going on. But what a miscommunication on the last play. That was one of the shot plays we talked about at the top of the show, that Minnesota wants to push it downfield, and the miscommunication from the quarterback and receivers.
That's Diggs in motion behind the line. Instead, they're going to come the other way. It's just dropped. Cook dropped it. Clay Matthews seemed to have read that play anyway. And it'll be a 3rd and 10 coming up.
And that was very close to being a lateral. But I love the officiating crew there. I think it was Tim Pedraza, number 47, was right on top of the play and immediately signaled forward pass. Not lateral, because Green Bay had jumped on the football.
Four corners on the field for Mike Pettinzee, and here comes a blitz. Cousins sees, reacts, throws, incomplete. There was a sea of Packers in that area, and it'll be a punt.
I do believe the crowd had an effect on that play. That snap happened, and Kirk Cousins had excellent reactions because I think Brett Jones snapped it before he was ready. See him look up? Now he's getting ready to survey defense, and the ball's right on him. Really nice reactions by Kirk Cousins going back to his baseball days and playing shortstop.
Tell you one thing that's evident for Mike Pettin, he likes to blitz his young corners. They blitzed a couple times already today. That time Alexander came again. Here is the punt by Weil. Cobb, fair catch at the 9. Green Bay will take over with 6:30 to go in the first half. The 100th year of Packers football. Yeah, there have been some pretty good players here. Starting with the quarterbacks. Back to Lambeau next. Well, this is interesting. This happening during the break. Rodgers went up to Anthony Barr, who effectively ended his season last year when on that quarterback hit. Took him down, broke his collarbone. And I can't tell if this is friendly or not.
I feel like Aaron went up and told him why he was so upset last year, and Anthony Barr was trying to answer.
Here's Rodgers on first down. He's got a year to throw. He's going to let it fly deep down the sideline. Incomplete. It was right there, too. Jimmy Graham should have made that play.
I think that Ben Gideon, number 42, a linebacker running with the tight end, never gave up on it. Watch his hand at the end, and he gets it in just a little bit early and helps knock it away. And that's why the crowd's upset. They wanted to flag, but folks, that is a bang-bang play in real speed. For the officials, that is very difficult to ascertain that hand's there before the ball gets there.
So, you're right. Good catch. Didn't see that from up here. Anyway, 2nd and 10. And on the Barr thing, Rodgers did tell us on Friday when I asked him, he said, I'm over it. But maybe not after that conversation. Here's Williams, who gets swallowed up whole at the line of scrimmage by Stephen Weatherly. What we're talking about, in case you didn't see it, this is the conversation, the tail end. They're shaking the head, and it looks like they're both, at least Rodgers is smiling, but again, you don't know.
That does not look like a smile of pleasure. It's more like a sardonic smile. Like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not buying it. And so they'll go on and play now.
That's the play.
And this is where it began. Aaron Rodgers thought maybe he didn't get the respect from Anthony Barr after the hit. Like, hey, are you okay, guy? What's up? And that's what led to what we just saw a few minutes ago.
I don't think they're going out for tea and crumpets anytime soon. 3rd down, blitz by Minnesota. Rodgers sidestep, throws, far sideline, back shoulder. A flag comes in too, and a catch. It's Adams. What a catch. And let's see what the penalty is.
And Kevin, the blitz was Harrison Smith, number 22. Mike Zimmer sent the fixer after Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers picked it up. And let's see the catch on the sideline by Adams.
Pass interference. Offense, number 17.
Oh, it doesn't matter now. That's on Adams.
Repeat, 3rd down.
So let's see, because we saw a lot of separation at the end with Xavier Rhodes. There's the catch, so he's in, but it doesn't matter. But let's see if he did indeed do what the officials flagged him for. Stop and go. Rhodes is there, and a very subtle little push. I thought they both pushed off of each other. I'm a little bit surprised that call came out there, because normally they let, if you push on one and the other pushes on you, they tend to let the play go.
So with that, a 3rd down and 14 as Rodgers in his own end zone against this Vikings #1 defense. Quick throw, get it far side of the field, and it's Cobb, and that's just not going to go anywhere. Mackenzie Alexander was there on the coverage, and a punt's coming up.
An absolutely beautiful play in open space by Mackenzie Alexander. One-on-one coverage, short route. But we also saw earlier in the game a short route to Devontae Adams turn into a touchdown when he made 2 guys miss. Alexander did not in open field. It's a big penalty against Adams. Killed the drive for Green Bay.
Vikings got some pressure. Remember, Scott just had the booming 63-yard kick, and this is pretty good too, but room to run. Sherrills breaks through and then is tackled at the 46-yard line. That's where Minnesota takes over. We'll be right back after this message from State Farm and Pizza Hut. Back at Lambeau Field along with Pam Oliver, Charles Davis, our entire NFL on Fox crew. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Glad to have you aboard. 80-degree day in Green Bay. These two teams usually don't play when it's 80 degrees here in northern Wisconsin, but that is the case today. 4:25 to go in this first half. It's been a good one. 14-7 Packers. Minnesota with great field position, though, after the defense held. And here they go, starting from the 46. It is Dalvin Cook looking for room, makes a move, and a flag flies from behind the line of scrimmage, so this is coming back.
Holding, offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty and repeat, first down.
Riley Reiff, the starting left tackle, who I thought had his best year as a pro last year with Minnesota. Moved back to his natural spot. And there's Reiff right there, 71, working inside. You see right there the hand grab, working on Muhammad Wilkerson, number 96. Watch as Wilkerson makes the move to throw him off. He's got the pads and the jersey. Can't get away from him, thus the flag. Reiff's second penalty of the game.
First and 20. Cousins near side Diggs, who is going to be tackled immediately by Tramon Williams, who they brought back into the fold with all these kids that they drafted, and then King, a second-year guy. Here is Williams at 35 years old. Rare to play that position at that age, although Terrence Newman just went to the coaching staff. But he was a joy to speak with the other day, and he knew he's back here to mentor the kids, but he also said, hey, I can still play.
Yeah, that was kind of the bargain, wasn't it? I'll mentor the kids, that's no problem. But don't treat me like I'm just here to coach. I'm here to play football. Terrence Newman just retired, pushing 40.
Second and 15. Cousins back. And he's got a completion. It's Thielen, who's stumbling forward up to the 48-yard line. And it's going to be a third down and long. Well, they bring Williams back with a very good year in Arizona. Of course, Packer for a long time, won a Super Bowl here. And the mentoring part is because they've spent a lot of time on drafting defense, and especially in the secondary, Charles, the last 2 years. Jair
Alexander, first-round corner out of Louisville this year. Josh Jackson, second-round corner out of Iowa this year. Kevin King, first-round corner last year out of the University of Washington. They need him in that room to bring these young kids along.
Third and 7. Here comes pressure. Cousins stands in, fires a seed, and it's complete to Thielen. Cool and calm in the pocket is Cousins, and he delivered a strike for a first down for Minnesota.
I think that the block on Clay Matthews coming from out here, you'll see it. There's Matthews, number 52, and Rashad Hill, 69, ran him around where Kirk Cousins was able to step up in the pocket. If he's not able to do that, Matthews affects the play. Instead, Cousins steps into it and fires a strike to Thielen for a big first down.
Cousins is 13 of 17, 131 yards and a touchdown. He has been ultra sharp here today. And we have ticked down to the 2-minute warning here from Lambeau. It's a good one with the Packers with a 14-7 lead, but Minnesota on the march. 2 minutes to go in the first half from Lambeau, and it's a 14-7 Packers lead. Vikings, though, on the move from the 35.
I take a shot right now if I'm Minnesota. I take it downtown. Stephon Diggs working against Devon House.
Cousins going to go to Thielen, but they clearly were thinking different things. It's well overthrown. Incomplete. Well, they're already in field goal range. Even though it's a rookie kicker, this is already in that range, so they've got the opportunity.
I like the field position. They've run the ball effectively lately. First down. Devon House hasn't played much this season. Didn't play a snap on defense against Chicago. I would have tested him there, but John DeFilippo has been very patient as a play caller here in the first half.
On second down is Dalvin Cook. Cuts back to the left, makes two Packers miss. And it's a nice run. It gets him down to the 31. Still going to bring up third down at about 6.
That should have been a lost yardage play. Absolutely should have been a lost yardage play. 2 in the backfield from Green Bay to make the play on Cook, and he makes them both miss coming off the ACL surgery from last year. He says the knee's no longer an issue. He says all maintenance now. Continue to strengthen it, all that stuff. But he's ready to go each and every week, and that cut showed us that he is.
Packers, by the way, just called their second timeout, so they've got 1 remaining with 1:49 left. So clearly a big play. Third down and 6 for the Vikings. And they're going to take Cook out of the game and bring in Latavius Murray.
Extra receiver also Laquan Treadwell, number 11, who scored their first touchdown. Adam Thielen goes into the slot where he operates well.
3rd and 6. Packers bring a blitz. They get a screen to Thielen, and he is taken down. Well played as Matthews and Jair Alexander has had a good first half. We're there to make the stop, and it looks like a field goal attempt, but first a Packers timeout. So their final timeout of the half with 1:42 to go. Let's check in with Curt Menefee.
Up on the Visa halftime. Teams try to avoid seeing double in the loss column as the Chargers take on the Bills. The Texans and Titans fight to avert back-to-back losses, and the Chiefs try to double their wins as they battle the Steelers. It's all coming up next on the Visa halftime. Hey, I was supposed to say that.
That's our guy.
Hey, Curt,
Emmy nominated, and now they cloned it.
he does it all.
He does it all.
Charles, after the Packers with a big stop on 3rd down, it's a 48-yard try from Daniel Carlson, the rookie. A little bit of an uneven preseason, but was good on his one field goal try last week from this exact distance.
His brother now kicks for Auburn. Missed a big one last night against LSU.
That is not going to work. Special teams hurting Minnesota today. And so Aaron Rodgers will have 1:37 and no timeouts, plenty of time to operate.
Snap and hold, everything was fine. All the mechanics were good. He just left it out to the right. His special teams coach Mike Priefer told him in preseason, good kickers don't miss 2 in a row. We'll see if he'll bounce back. And Mike McCarthy helping it off to the right.
Keep in mind, the Vikings changed their punter and their kicker this year. So they had a block punt here today. That's obviously not all on the punter. And then a missed kick from 48, certainly makeable in perfect conditions today. So what that means is Aaron Rodgers has plenty of time. No timeouts, but 1:37 to go with his Packers in front 14-7. Crowd wanted to jump off sides. We get a flag. Rodgers is taken down and he throws it away. So a lot happening.
He tried to get the big play downfield and looked like the defensive end got the extra jump. Was that Everson Griffin, who's known to get off the ball really fast, sometimes too fast? So it'd be right out here. And there he is. Griffin, first guy off the ball.
Offside, defense, number 97. This penalty is a decline. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 54. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
How about that? Normally you get that, and Rodgers tries to get a big play. And they get to him. And you know why that call was made. All right, whether we agree, disagree, that call was made because of the emphasis of not doing what this year the quarterbacks, driving them into the ground. And I don't agree with the call because it looked like he just tackled him and put him on the ground. But they are really emphasizing not hitting him and driving him down into the ground. I don't agree with that call.
No,
to me, that was a normal tackle.
The reality is,
but that's where we're headed.
He left his. It's a totally normal tackle. It's not a penalty, but he left his feet. And that's the illusion, and that was kind of emphasized. Kind of that lead,
and drive. I don't think Eric Hendricks will be getting fined this week. I don't believe that.
They got one there. The Packers are going to dump it off here near side. Montgomery, one-handed catch, leaping over people, and he's going to be near a first down. We'll see where the spot is. So Montgomery's had an athletic first half, running and catching here today. And time obviously a factor, but they have plenty of it as we're at the 1:10 mark in the first half. Montgomery to run it. Left side, good seam, first down to the 31 for Montgomery.
Then after the penalty, there's Sheldon Richardson giving him a little shove at the end of the play. And Tony Corrente, the referee, says, nope, we're good. Play on.
38 seconds ago, clock running. Again, no timeouts for Green Bay. They're already in field goal range. Rodgers, pressure coming from the edge. Sees it, throws far side. Adams makes the catch. He's in bound zone. Now time a factor. And Rodgers says, hey, timeouts. There's none left. 17 seconds.
See if he gets up there He doesn't look like he's going up there to clock it. He's trying to get a play called.
10 seconds. Rodgers. Time winding down. Rodgers has to get rid of it, does to Adams, and he gets out of bounds with 2 seconds left in the half, so they will have a field goal attempt here. And by the way, a good job by Tony Corrente to have just ignore the Rodgers plea for a timeout. That's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. You don't have any. You have to play on. Wasn't the most artistic 2-minute drive Green Bay's ever had, but it may work out exactly as they needed. They have a chance to get 3 points at the end of it.
There is Mason Crosby. This will be a 37-yard field goal try. Would put Green Bay up by 10. Snap and hold are good, and so is the kick. So, wasn't exactly how Aaron Rodgers wanted it, but he drives down for a field goal and a good first half as the Packers up by 10. And here's the play of the first half, brought to you by Swiffer. So here it was, the block punt as Green Bay. Jackson, after the Allison block, Jackson recovered it for a touchdown. That got things going. And the first score of this game, the Swiffer play of the first half. Halftime show coming up with Kurt and the fellas. Kurt from Los Angeles, take it away. Today's game flow brought to you by Progressive. At halftime, great moment. Aaron Rodgers, who loves the history here, and meeting with Jerry Kramer in the Ring of Honor here at Lambeau. Gosh, asked Aaron about what it means to be playing in the 100th year as Packers football, and he just went on and on about it the other day. He really respects it, gets it.
Totally, absolutely, fully, and showed great respect there to Jerry Kramer.
That was a cool moment. So it's the Packers up 17-7, and Minnesota will start with the football in this third quarter. Welcome to the booth, Charles Davis. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Talk about the quarterbacks all day long. This game's been about special teams.
Certainly has. Block punt early in the game by Geronimo Allison. Josh Jackson with a touchdown for Green Bay. And then Minnesota, a big return by Mike Hughes on the kickoff. Set up a touchdown pass by Kirk Cousins. Then later on, you had a missed field goal by Daniel Carlson from Minnesota. And then Mason Crosby capped the first half of the made field goal. Special teams taking control for Green Bay.
That's a 6-point swing in the last 2 minutes. So Hughes will see if special teams continue to affect the outcome. Kirk Cousins will get it going. He had a good first half, 14 of 19, 132 yards, and a touchdown. He would throw it on first down, off the boot. Looking to throw on the run, does so, has a completion for 9 yards to Diggs. Down to the field we go with Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Kevin, the Vikings expected Aaron Rodgers to be normal, but what they didn't expect was a nice protection that he's getting. Mike Zimmer told me that the D-line just has to get off the ball better than they have been. When I asked him about special teams, cue crickets. Mike McCarthy, meanwhile, says he doesn't have to limit anything on his call sheet because of the way Aaron's playing. Getting off the field on third down is critical.
Pam, I can only imagine the stare Coach Zimmer gave you when he asked about special teams. I mean, he doesn't like kickers anyway, Charles, let alone when they make mistakes.
Well, you remember in the preseason when Daniel Carlson missed a couple and they asked him about his progress. He said, I certainly hope he starts making them. And that was pretty much the end of that.
And never refers to the kickers by name.
Now, as you look at the first half stats, and Pam just mentioned third down, getting off the field. Well, Minnesota 3 of 7 on third down. Green Bay 1 of 4. Both teams' defenses doing a pretty decent job on that money down.
Yeah, Minnesota's had a hard time running the ball, and that is something for them that's got to change. They are a run team. Here's Diggs trying to run the ball and just can't go anywhere. There's Kentrell Bryce, another one of these young secondary players coming up. And I know it's only, Charles, 6 quarters of football, but how do you not like the improvement from Green Bay's defense under Mike Pettin so far?
Well, they've really enjoyed playing for him. He's brought his personality. He's brought extra energy. He's brought a thinking man's game. But he's also kept it likable and learnable. The kill philosophy, as he calls it. And this team is really reacting. Kentrell Bryce rapidly becoming one of the better safeties in the league.
Cousins throws, and he's got a completion over the middle. And that's going to be Thielen again underneath.
Remember in the first half when I called for the deep shot from Kirk Cousins to Stephon Diggs, we had great field position. I think part of the reason John DeFilippo isn't pushing it downfield as much as maybe I anticipated is Green Bay's defense. They're doing a nice job of making sure they keep everything underneath, making Kirk Cousins come and check it down and throw it underneath.
On third down, keep in mind, we're just told Kevin King, the starting corner for the Packers, is questionable. He's got a groin issue. Here's Cousins. In trouble and sacked. Kenny Clark gets the sack.
So there's Clay Matthews, and he's going to actually flush Kirk Cousins, make him step right up into the waiting arms of number 97, Kenny Clark. So Clark gets the sack, but that play was made by Matthews' pressure, which forced Cousins to step right up into the big fella, Kenny Clark.
Clark's really an up-and-comer. He had 4.5 sacks last December, and now his first sack of the year today. So Minnesota will punt it away. As Wild. Good high kick. And a fumble on the play, but it is recovered by Randall Cobb. And he stays with it. As this Green Bay defense has been a story here today. Pressure on Cousins, second sack of the day. Packers up 10. 17-7. Packers lead the Vikings. Packed house at Lambeau. What else is new on a warm September Sunday and a big early season tilt between these two? Rodgers playing with a brace on that left knee. 78 yards, 12-17. Even ran for a first down earlier. Starts here out of the pistol. Will throw it to Cobb. Gets the block. Makes a tackle. But the Vikings swarming on Cobb, who has a heck of an effort just to get 4 yards on that play, as Alexander and Waynes were there. So Mike Zimmer, you know, you got to love Coach Zim. He's been around a long time. He's that sarcastic, you know, crusty guy, right? He said, well, Mike Zimmer, on Aaron Rodgers' quote, he walks on water, so I'm sure he's going to play. And we say this, let's put this out there. Zimmer has the utmost respect for Aaron Rodgers. But he's great at needling his own players, isn't he?
Yeah, he's wanting to make sure they know what challenge they got in front of them. We'll see how you're going to react to this. And he was being a little bit sarcastic.
They will run it to Williams, and it's going to be a third down and short. Yeah, Zimmer, I mean, he's one of the guys we really enjoy meeting, and he tells it like it is, no doubt. And he always has these things that he pulls out of nowhere with these quotes. He had one before week 1 referencing, this is amazing, right? I don't know if he likes the offensive coordinator on the field or in the booth. His quote, it's like Toodles the tugboat. Starts out as one story and ends up as another story. Now, I had no idea what Toodles the tugboat was. But it's a thing. There it is.
There it is.
Listen to the song, Charles. I mean, Coach Zimmer, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd and 3 for his defense.
Toodles a tugboat, 1954.
Here's Rodgers. Has time, lets it flow. He's got a man wide open. It's Jimmy Graham. Big play and the longest play of the day for anyone today. It's a gain of 34 to Graham.
And remember, he's listed as a tight end, but let's be honest, he's a receiver. And here comes Jimmy Graham, and so he just runs out and really didn't have to do a whole lot. Mackenzie Alexander got caught peeking in the backfield and stopped his feet. And that allowed Jimmy Graham to just progress upfield. And there's Rodgers dropping another dime on number 80, and a big play for Green Bay on 3rd down.
Pressure from Hunter, and Rodgers is sacked. Danielle Hunter came and got him. He had a sack last week. He's got one here today.
So Danielle Hunter, who is so quick off the ball, and he really looks like a sprinter wearing number 99. Here he comes. Watch his progress towards the quarterback, working against Brian Bulaga, and he really beat him using his hands. So many of these defensive linemen nowadays are doing martial arts training and hand technique. Excellent job with Hunter using his hands to get past Bulaga to get to Rodgers.
Rodgers connects. It's Geronimo Allison who's had a big impact on this play, on this game with a blocked punt. But Allison coming through with his first catch here today.
Now, in the last third down, Green Bay had a 3rd and 4, correct? And got the ball to Jimmy Graham for a big play. But now it's 3rd and long. This is what Aaron Rodgers said is death to us against Mike Zimmer's defense. They get you in 3rd and 7 or more, the advantage goes to Minnesota. Here's their opportunity.
They were #1 in the league on 3rd down last year, 3rd best all time. That's how good this Vikings team is on that down. Call it 3rd and 11. Blitz coming. It's blocked. Rodgers. Adams makes the catch and they convert. And a flag. Now 2 flags fly after the play, and I wonder if that's on the hit. They picked up the blitz beautifully.
Here's where it all happens. It's the protection up front with this offensive line. They pick up the extra blitzer, the delayed rusher. Rodgers throws it into the middle where Davante Adams is absolutely fearless. Rhodes 29 to back. Sendejo with a big hit.
Defense, number 34.
And the penalty.
Unnecessary hit to a defensive player. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play and an automatic first down.
So you give the defenseless player protection downfield, but watch for Sendejo. He tries to go with the shoulder, but he ends up taking the helmet right into the helmet of Davante Adams. That's an easy call for the officials and a big pickup for Green Bay. Not only the first down, but tack on another one.
So 16 yards on the catch, an extra 15 on the penalty. Dean Blandino, our rules expert in LA, tells us it's a good call. And now the Packers on the move. Remember, that's not the helmet rule, the new one. That's just a hit on a defensive player. That's been in the rule book. Packers on the move from the 18 now, already up 10 midway through this third, and Rodgers calls timeout just before the play clock hits 0. Couldn't get the playoff, but a good drive for Green Bay. Back in a moment. A heck of a drive by Green Bay. 6 plays, 71 yards, and just keep in mind against this tough Vikings defense, they converted 3rd downs, 1 at 3rd and 3, and 1 at 3rd and 11, which Minnesota just never gives up. So here they are, 1st and 10 from the 18.
He's got his receiving tight ends in the game. Jimmy Graham, number 80 here, and Eric Kendricks up here in motion right now coming towards you.
They're going to throw it instead to the far side of the field, and that's Allison, who's brought down immediately by Rhodes. 2nd down.
It's a really good tackle by Xavier Rhodes. If he's not a bigger, stronger physical corner, did you see the straight arm Geronimo Allison put out there on him? These Packers really work hard at creating that extra space when people try to tackle them. It's a nice job by Xavier Rhodes being able to handle what Geronimo Allison puts into his chest.
On 2nd down, fake to Williams, pressure, Rodgers sees it, gets rid of it. Heavy pressure that time coming from Stephen Weatherly, the 3rd-year player from Vanderbilt, and he just had to dump it off.
But he also, okay, so Weatherly coming from over here, number 91, does a nice job evading Bulaga. And you mentioned it earlier, partner, that Aaron Rodgers had to understand where his escape hatches were because he couldn't use his legs this week. Able to intentionally ground it without being called for intentionally grounding. Mercedes Lewis, number 89, was right there, threw it at his feet.
Right, that's a tight end, so that's a play that's allowed. So it'll be another 3rd down, 3rd and 4. Jimmy Graham lined up top of your screen as a wide receiver. Rodgers looking that way, throwing that way, caught that way! There's a penalty flag, though. Hang on, and this may be coming back. Let's see.
Holding, offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
So a big penalty on Lane Taylor, and Jimmy Graham, no one told him. There you go, it doesn't count. So it goes from a touchdown, and the holding penalty is a killer.
So Lane Taylor, the left guard, gets the penalty that calls it back right here. After all the excellent scheming there by Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, because you pointed it out, Kevin, so accurately. He had 3 receivers to one side and Jimmy Graham backside one-on-one. He may be a tight end, but he plays totally like a receiver. So it's essentially 4 receivers on the field with your biggest target isolated to the top.
They take points off the board, and now you've got yourself a 3rd and 14. Packers need to get to the 8. Rodgers rolling. Here comes pressure. He's in trouble. He's hit. He throws incomplete. Absorbed a big hit that time from Sheldon Richardson. And a field goal opportunity coming up.
And I know that points came off the board for Green Bay, so it looked good. It comes off. But as this game is going on, the hits are starting to pile up on Aaron Rodgers. Vikings pressure is starting to get there a little bit with a little bit more frequency. Offensive line had done such yeoman's duty earlier. Now guys are starting to get close to home again. It's him now.
It'll be Mason Crosby, who hit from 37 yards out to end the first half. This one from 40, and this one gives the Packers a 20-7 lead. So Rodgers a little upset. The touchdown came off the board. Kirk Cousins has some work to do. Vikings down 20-7. Packers went 10 plays, 67 yards, took over 5 minutes off the clock. They had a touchdown on the board taken away with a holding penalty. And so Mason Crosby hits a 40-yard field goal, and it puts them up 20-7 with 6:32 to go in this third quarter here from Lambeau. Vikings will start from their own 25-yard line. This week, Thursday Night Football, Sam Darnold and the Jets taking on the Browns exclusively on the NFL Network. Starting in Week 4, Fox becomes the new network home to Thursday Night Football. Vikings and Rams in that one. So look forward to that. Last we checked, the Browns were beating the Saints, and the Dolphins were shutting out the Jets. So things change week to week in the NFL.
So you're saying the coronation of Sam Darnold? Slow it down just a tad right now?
Jets are down 20-6 now with Darnold at the helm, so that'll be fun on Thursday with Joe, Troy, Aaron, and Christina. Look forward to it. Here the Vikings work for Kirk Cousins and company, and a fake to Cook. Cousins hit, bounces off, still going, looking. He's just running for his life now. And I'll tell you one thing, Cousins has played well in this game, Charles, but the run game for Minnesota, which is usually a staple, not there. Here's the play.
But how does Mike Daniels not finish this sack? He thinks it's done. Look at that. And you just wonder, with the quarterback protection rules and what we've seen in this game so far, did Mike Daniels not want to go too far? Because that was very strange. He had him wrapped up, didn't take him to the ground. Cousins able to escape and try to make a play.
It's either that or he thought he got rid of the ball and was like letting up because he kind of stopped.
It's very strange.
Play clock winding down here on 2nd and 9. They're going to pass it to Cook. Dalvin Cook makes a man miss, cutting all the way across the field. Look at the effort by Cook, who worked pretty hard for a 4-yard gain before Blake Martinez made the call. Now a 3rd down coming up.
Get the sense today that Minnesota's tried to throw their way into the run game. And what I mean by that is a lot of 1st down throws. But when you're not very successful throwing the ball on 1st down and you get to 2nd and 10 and 3rd and long, you're not able to establish the run at all. And we've seen that throughout this game. Minnesota throwing on the first 2 downs on this series.
They've got 24 passes, only 10 runs. It's a little unlike them. Third and 5. Overload rush from the Packers. It's blocked up temporarily. Now Cousins gets rid of it. It's dropped. Treadwell, who caught his first career touchdown earlier, had 2 big drops last week. That would have been a 1st down, and he couldn't hang on.
There's a lot happening on this play, Kevin. The coverage downfield by Green Bay was excellent. No one able. Look at Jair Alexander, 23 on Thielen. And then when Cousins avoids the sack that should have been gotten by Gilbert, number 93, he flicks it off, and Treadwell should have caught that ball and gotten them a 1st down. 2 drops last week, 1 today, and that was a critical one.
That is big. So Wild to punt it away. He's had a good day other than the block that resulted in a Packers touchdown. But when he's had time, he's done things like this. Cobb, no fair catch. They make the catch and hit immediately as Kearse is there on the tackle. So Cousins made a great play, but Treadwell tried to run free of the ball. Big miss Packers football. Is the mayor of Green Bay, Mike Stiepak, and we're being facetious, not the real mayor, but we call him the mayor. He's our mayor of Green Bay. Took us on the Green Bay tour the other night. Great dinner.
Hey, he said, like he told us, title town. It'll get you when you show up.
We had to take care of him for Richie Zions, you know, who's a rare Sunday off today. So, Richie, we did. Here's Rodgers to throw first down, incomplete. We have a moment. Let's get a game break from Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so the Bucs were up 20-7. Ryan Fitzpatrick finds Mike Evans for this 4-yard touchdown. Fitzpatrick with 4 touchdown passes in back-to-back games now. Bucs rolling 27-7. Kevin?
Oh, it's just like we thought. Ryan Fitzpatrick would be the MVP of the league.
I thought that the Buccaneers would start 0-3 this year with their schedule. But looking back at this one, a huge defensive series for Minnesota. They need to help their offense out with field position. They need to keep Green Bay bottled up.
2nd and 10. Pump for Rodgers. Now pressure up the middle, and down he goes. David Perry, who doesn't get too many reps, but got big push up the middle, the 4th-year man from Stanford.
That's only the 5th career sack for David Perry, who's known as a run stopper. And look at him working there against Lane Taylor, and all he did was bull rush him and push him right back into Aaron Rodgers. And without the normal mobility that Aaron usually has, unable to sidestep, ends up taking that sack. Yeah, he's had time to work on it. His 5th one in his career. He's been thinking about that for a long time, hadn't he?
3rd and 16 now after the big sack. Rodgers fires near side. It's caught, but that's going to be well short of a first down as Waynes to Jimmy Graham on the completion. But the Vikings, who, Charles, you said needed a stop, produced 3 and out. And so they will get the ball back with 3:48 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Mike Hughes back now to return the punt. Had an excellent kickoff return. And he was a tremendous punt returner at UCF. Had 2 returns for touchdowns last season.
Yes, he did. Short kick, high. Hughes lets it bounce, and
he's fortunate. He needs to go catch that and not let it hit the ground and give up yardage.
We'll be right back after this message from State Farm and Pizza Hut. Aerial coverage brought to you by State Farm today on a gorgeous Sunday in Lambeau. Always a great day at Lambeau Field, but not right now for the Vikings. A trail at 20-7, and they will run it. Dalvin Cook. And Cook scurries his way out across the 32, the 34. Dalvin Cook has been held in check for the most part, and it's not really all his fault. They haven't called his number all that often. He's averaging 4.6 a carry, but just 32 rush yards. And it's still only a 2-score game in the 3rd quarter. Plenty of time left. Latavius Murray in for Cook now in the backfield. Cousins. Far side of the field complete to Thielen, who's going to be a yard shy of a first down. You know, it's interesting, Charles. I asked Cousins the other day, hey, felt like last week in the game that we did, you didn't have to be Superman. But he said, true, but it depends on the situation. And I almost feel like maybe he might have to put on that cape today.
Yeah, he might have to go into the phone booth a little bit, down 20-7. And I think he takes some pride in wanting the opportunity to show people he can do that. We saw him do it last year in Seattle when he was with Washington with a late comeback.
3rd and 1. They'll give it to Ham, the up back. And he's got a first down. So the fullback does the dirty work and gets the first down there. And we have a timeout because Rashad Hill is down, the right tackle for Minnesota. Meanwhile, we'll be back after this message from Izod. They're tending to Rashad Hill, the starting right tackle for Minnesota. Let's see if we can see what happened.
So that's him right there. And you see he gets caught awkwardly with his ankle underneath. as Mike Daniels is trying to get a push back to the quarterback.
So he's up, and number 75, Brian O'Neill, the rookie who they took in the second round this year out of Pitt, will come on in and replace him.
One of the more athletic tackles in last year's draft. He was a tight end when he got to Pitt. Great movement skills. Probably a little more refined as a pass protector now than a run blocker. But I think Minnesota's got something going this drive with the running game. Let's see if John DeFilippo wants to stay with it a little bit and mix things up.
And he will go into the right tackle spot. I was wondering if they would move Mike Remmers over to the right side. They keep Remmers at the right guard where he's played all year, even though he's a former tackle. That's the setup. And a 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Fake. Cousins. Time. Pumps. Looking on the run. Throws, and he's got a man wide open. It's Thielen. Thielen is taken down in Green Bay territory, but a big hookup by Cousins about all the time with his feet. A gain of 20.
We spent a lot of time coming into this game talking about Aaron Rodgers' loss of mobility. We probably didn't talk enough about Kirk Cousins and his ability to escape the pocket and be accurate downfield.
Pressure again. Cousins backing up in trouble. Throws. And incomplete. Diggs somehow almost got near that, but Cousins just lucky to get away. Charles, this Green Bay defense, first 2 games of the year, they're getting pressure on people.
They certainly are. They're doing a variety of ways. That was outside pressure from Clay Matthews into Kenny Clark. There's Reggie Gilbert, number 93, a former defensive end who's now an outside linebacker. He's getting to Kirk Cousins. We saw a corner blitz from Jair Alexander early in the game that got to him. So they're coming from all angles.
Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. 4-man rush. Cousins firing over the middle, complete. It's Treadwell, and he is going to be a little bit shy of a 1st down. So Cousins trying to get the rookie's head back in the game. Or not the rookie, 3rd-year man, excuse me.
It looks like they may want to move just a little bit quicker. You notice how they're staying near the ball as they start to huddle, break out, and go. But I like what Kirk Cousins is doing with Laquan Treadwell. He's had some drops in the first 2 games, but it hasn't shied Kirk Cousins away from going back to him when he needs a completion.
Cousins, blitz coming, sees it, hits Rudolph, and a big gain inside the 20. Rudolph chugging forward at the 5. A big pickup on 3rd down for Minnesota. It'll bring up a 1st and goal. 23 yards on the connection.
So right here, fakes the down block and then swings outside. And you notice that Minnesota left a rusher free for Kirk Cousins. They told him, you're your own blitz control. You handle that on your own. And he had him fully in his sight, was able to sidearm it around him and get it to Kyle Rudolph. Well-designed play by John DeFilippo.
So we are set up for a wild 4th quarter. The Packers up 20-7, but Minnesota has it on the 5 when we come back. We start the 4th quarter. Packers 20, Vikings 7. And Kirk Cousins has led the Vikings on the doorstep. They've got a 1st and goal at the 5, and they need it here. That's Treadwell in motion. They'll run it. It's Dalvin Cook. And he gets a little bit closer. Inside the 3 is Dalvin Cook, 2nd and goal.
Mike Zimmer loves for them to run the football, as you've noted, Kevin. But this day has been much more the day of throwing the ball. And in this situation, if you're going to go play action after having run the football on 1st down, 2nd down is the opportunity. And it doesn't even look like they're even setting up for play action. It's more of him going to throw the ball here.
Cousins firing end zone low throw, and it's caught by Diggs. Touchdown. And we've got ourselves a 1-score game.
That was a tough drive for Minnesota. Watch Diggs, number 14 in white, in motion, and he runs what they call zip-zap motion, and he ends up losing Tramon Williams, number 38. had him leaning one way, and when he went back the opposite, he did it with a quick move and left him way behind and able to pick the throw up almost off his shoe tops and get into the end zone.
So Stefon Diggs with the touchdown reception. The extra point is up and good. And the Packers lead is down to 6. Beautiful drive executed by Kirk Cousins. 9 plays, 71 yards. Took up 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Finished off by Diggs in the touchdown. Close one at Lambeau. First ever start at Lambeau Field, and Kirk Cousins has played well. 22 of 29, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. The last one came moments ago to Stefon Diggs, who's got a touchdown catch in 5 consecutive games. And we have a 1-score game here in Green Bay. You know, Charles, the Lambeau Leap is obviously a popular thing here. If you're a Packer, the rejection.
I mean, I was trying to find a Vikings jersey somewhere, because if you're going to do the Lambeau Leap here, find someone wearing your colors and go in that direction. Why would you expect otherwise to leap into a crowd of Green Bay Packers fans and you just scored a touchdown? See?
Oh, you can't leap into row 10. That's hard to do. That's a long way to go. So now it's Aaron Rodgers. See if he can answer. 20-14. Plenty of time left in this one. Just started the 4th quarter. They'll run it. Williams for a short game. Aaron Rodgers, look, I mean, I think it's obvious how valuable he is, but when you see the numbers, he really puts it in perspective, right? I mean, their record with and without him, certainly a difference. Points per game, it's 8 more points a game. Everything is better with Aaron Rodgers. Then week 1, when he left the game, it was a disaster. When he came back, oh yeah, ho-hum, they came back from a 20-0 deficit. 17 in the 4th quarter. And that's why, despite a rough left knee injury, he's got the brace on. He's playing today. He knows, even though this is week 2, this is a big game against 2 teams that could easily win this division. On 2nd down, pressure, sees it, throws it, unloads, and it's Randall Cobb who's got a 1st down. And an empty runner, a free runner on Rodgers.
Yeah, it was Eric Kendricks, the middle linebacker, who moves to the side there. Now look at Kendricks' eyes. And he's a free runner right at Rodgers, who doesn't flinch at all and beats the pressure with the throw. And how else did he beat the pressure? Randall Cobb won his route immediately at the line of scrimmage. A little self-satisfied smile there for number 12.
Rodgers, this time he's got time. We got a flag on the far side of the field. Rodgers is running, gets hit, lets it fly. It's intercepted. Harrison Smith. Another flag flies. Smith running with it. And he is going to be tackled, but there's multiple penalties on this play. So let's see here. Smith was the defensive player of the week last week. He was awesome against the 49ers. And let's see if this will stand up.
I think Aaron Rodgers took the shot downfield because he believes the penalty was in his favor. He often does that. Let's see if that's actually true. Pretty good huddle there with Tony Correni and his guys, isn't it? There's a lot going on, as you noted. A lot of yellow laundry out there.
There are fouls against both teams that will cause the play to offset. Illegal motion, offense, number 18. Holding, defense, number 22. By rule, these penalties will offset, replay, 1st down.
Okay, so just pretend that didn't occur.
Harrison Smith has 3 interceptions against Green Bay in the last 2 games against the Packers. That was almost his 4th. But when you hold downfield, it probably gives you a little bit of an advantage towards getting that 4th.
Yes, it does.
Always have to be conscious of where he is. Harrison Smith, the fixer, shows up at key times for the Minnesota defense and makes big plays.
Ty Montgomery in the game in the backfield on a 1st and 10. Here comes Smith on the blitz. It's picked up. Rodgers sees it, throws it. It's complete. Far side of the field. And breaking tackles now for Green Bay. It's Allison. The blitz was picked up. The throw to Allison, and a big move and a 1st down in a gain of 22.
Kevin, you talked about we just talked about Harrison Smith making big plays, but you can't make a big play if you get picked up on the blitz. And Ty Montgomery, who's improving in that area, picks him up and keeps the play alive. And how about Geronimo Allison going down on one knee to secure the catch and then getting up and getting extra yardage? Was he down by contact? So far, the Packers getting the play off. And there's no challenge flag from Minnesota.
Play clock at 2. Blitz again. Rodgers sees it again. Williams is wide open inside the 40 and down near the 35. Let's go take a look at what you were talking about, Charles.
See, Allison goes down like they taught us when we were in Little League Baseball. Go down on one knee to secure the catch, right? When you're trying to pick it. And he's got the ball, and he's down on one knee, and he's being touched.
Wow.
And the official's got a direct shot into it and doesn't blow the play dead. So that extra yardage given up by Minnesota's defense, that play should have been stopped right there.
Keep in mind, that would have been short of a first down. That is a big non-challenge by Minnesota. Second down. They'll run it with Williams. Big hole. And Jamal Williams gets stacked up, but not before he picks up a first down for Green Bay. Let's go down and check in with Pam Oliver. Pam.
Well, Kevin, as you know, Mike McCarthy has stressed a back-to-basics approach to the Packers offense this season, not as many variations or formations. When we asked Aaron Rodgers about that, he paused and said, the question really is why? It's not like it's broken. He seemed resistant. Brian Bulaga, his right tackle, told us there's back-to-basics, and then that's what Aaron wants to do.
So you're telling me it's Rodgers' show. Flag flies, the play's going to let it fly. Rodgers going deep for Graham. Jump ball incomplete.
That's a great report by Pam, and we just saw an Aaron Rodgers special, didn't we?
Well, he tried to hit Graham in the middle of 17 Vikings.
That's because he thought he had the Vikings jump, so he figured he had a free play, and he took the shot.
Offside. Defense number 93 in the neutral zone at snap. 5-yard penalty and repeat, first down.
And don't forget, with Aaron Rodgers and his cadence, that's what teams have to prepare for as well. It takes extra time each week because they have 9 different cadences. And as Aaron says, they're non-rhythmic. So you never know what you're getting, and he varies them, works on different things, sees what can happen. And his team, they have to adjust to him, and he often draws people offside as he did on that one.
He's as good, if not the best in the league, anybody, and they do practice it.
9 different variations of what they're trying to do to get the ball snapped.
So after the penalty, he took a shot. It's a 1st and 5. Packers on the move, up by 6. That's Adams in motion. They'll run it. Good hard run that time by Jamal Williams. He is he's got some dance moves apparently.
Remember, the Packers are missing Aaron Jones, suspended the first 2 games of the season. He's more of a home run hitting back. Jamal Williams is an absolute hammer between the tackles. Handles blitz pickup very, very well, and is underrated as a pass catcher. He's a 3-down back who gets some relief from number 88, Ty Montgomery. And some nice hard running on that last play.
That run was good for a first down. Lance Kendricks, the tight end, in motion. Rodgers, pressure, steps away, on the move. He's going to run with that bad knee, and that was interesting because Anthony Barr was in hot pursuit, but he laid off as Rodgers picks up yards. And one other thought on Pam's report, which was so interesting. You know, this is Aaron's show. He said to us, you know, there's an offense on paper, and then there's the offense that I run. And here, boy, that could have been fascinating, huh?
Now, Anthony Barr also understands what happened last year. The play that he made against Aaron Rodgers, it was legal. I'm not even questioning that. Others may, but I'm not. But he knows where he is. He knows what competitor Aaron is. That was pure respect to not launch and take a shot in that play.
Randall Cobb is in the backfield right now, number 18. Rodgers. Time coming near side. Kendricks, the tight end, is the man that makes the catch. Down to the 12. He's going to be 2 yards shy of a first down.
Kevin, you mentioned the cadence of Aaron Rodgers, and we talked about 9 of them non-rhythmic. When you get into the red zone, you get out of that. You know why? You don't want to cause any jumps, any loss of, any 5-yard penalties of your offense. The risk reward isn't there at that point of the field. So expect more of a basic snap count here in this situation, don't worry so much about drawing them off, just making sure you get a right play called and your offensive line gets to fire out.
Packers are 3 of 8 on 3rd down today. This is 3rd and 2. Well, the play clock was winding down. You see Rodgers actually did go back to the cadence that time, but the Vikings did not draw off sides, and so he uses the Packers' 2nd timeout. Well, Charles, hasn't been an ideal start for Scott Frost in Nebraska, but he's got a big one coming up. They head to the Big House to take on 19th ranked Michigan, Saturday 11:30 Eastern on FS1, and of course on the Fox Sports app.
Did you say not the ideal start?
Not ideal.
Nebraska? Yeah. 0-2. That one game rained out that they didn't, weathered out that they didn't play against Akron. And then to lose to Troy at home yesterday. We talked to Rick Spielman, the GM of the Vikings, in pregame. His son JD is one of the best receivers in the Big Ten. We said, hey, have you talked to JD? He said, yeah, I talked to him before. Much better conversation before the game than it was after.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I think Rick will see him next week in Michigan, going to see that game, see his son, and see some of the great players Michigan possesses as well.
So a 3rd and 2. Packers up 6.
They could run it here with Jamal Williams. He's still a possibility.
Play clock at 1. Rodgers snap. Williams runs it, and Williams is not going to get there. Everson Griffin with a big tackle.
And did you hear his cadence? He called kill, which means he had a pass play called. He killed it to this run. So look at the fire out, but then from the left side, Everson Griffin recognizes and gets into the backfield and puts a hit on Williams to slow him down. Once his legs slow down, the rest of the white shirts get there and stop him short and force the field goal. A big play by the Vikings defense.
Mason Crosby 2 of 2 on field goals today. This would be from 31 yards out. Make it a 2-score game, and he is perfect. So Mason Crosby with a 31-yard field goal. And it's a 23-14 game. Vikings defense keeps him out of the end zone, but they've got work to do. They're going to come back here tonight. Aaron Rodgers leads Green Bay to another field goal. He's got 194 yards passing and a touchdown today, playing on that bad knee. Mason Crosby's been excellent, 3 of 3 on field goals, and it's a 2-score game now with 7:35 to play. So time getting to be a factor here. I want to take a moment to recognize one of the greats. Our Fox family lost someone outstanding this past week. Tommy Skinner. He was an original member of our Fox Sports team from 1994. Native Chicagoan. He was simply outstanding on camera. Worked multiple Super Bowls, big events on the network, and spent many years working for the Oprah show as well. He was one of the sweetest guys you could ever know. We will miss you, Skinny. A lot on the shoulders of Kirk Cousins here. His team is down by 9. Throwing batted down and incomplete. Kenny Clark got up in the air to knock it away.
A lot more athletic at the nose position than you might expect. Look at the middle where number 61 Brett Jones is. He's got the block on him, but he just essays the quarterback. Just sees where Cousin is, and as soon as he throws the ball, goes up and almost envelops it with his mitts. At UCLA, he was used on offense in short yards and goal line situations, so the big man can move.
By the way, we mentioned it earlier, but Kevin King has not been back in the game at cornerback. Went out with that groin injury. Devon House, number 31, bottom of your screen, has played a lot for him. Here's Cousins. Gonna let it fly. Gonna let it go deep for Diggs. He's got it! Stephon Diggs! Touchdown! A bomb from Cousins to Diggs. $75 yards.
Kevin, it's the matchup we talked about earlier in the ball game. Diggs and Devon House. He hasn't played much this season. And you just mentioned it again. Kevin King out, House in, and Diggs just runs past him. And what a beautifully thrown football. One of the most underrated parts of Kirk Cousins' game is his arm talent and his ability to throw the deep ball.
You could not throw it any better than Cousins just laid it out for Stephon Diggs. That was huge. Cousins with 284 yards and 3 touchdowns now. And it's a 2-point lead for the Packers. Stephon Diggs with a 2-touchdown day, a 75-yard catch and run. That's his career long, and Kirk Cousins threw an absolute dime. And we'll show you why it all works after this. It's a 2-point game with 7:18 to go. How about this? A little pooch kick up short.
And that's why they want the lineman to handle the football.
Lucas Patrick, but good field position. He does a good job there across the 30. So what happened on the TD?
So what happened was, take a look back here at Kentrell Brice, the safety. All right, so when he gets to the middle, now you freeze it. So Diggs right here is even, which means he's leaving. But where do you have to have your vision? He's focused back here. He doesn't see over here that House needs help. And Brice ends up going in the wrong direction. House ends up one-on-one, and that's the matchup we identified when House came into the game. Hasn't played much football, veteran guy. Run some routes at him and see how it goes. John DeFilippo bided his time and finally got it with a big shot from Cousins.
Brice went to Treadwell on that play, who's not really a deep threat, so that's why it worked, and that's why we have a 2-point game. Now it's Aaron Rodgers' turn from the pistol. The fake. He's got Graham wide open, and he hits him. Jimmy Graham leaping over a defender. Jimmy Graham, old school for a first down.
People have been asking the question, where is Jimmy Graham? Well, look at him coming from your left to your right behind the line of scrimmage, and look out in front. There's a block right here, by Randall Cobb right there. And then look at Graham. Watch Cobb turn back inside and does just enough to get in front of Kendricks. He understood he's going to take the hit, but he slowed down Kendricks, and then Graham with a nice leap picks up extra yardage.
16 yards to be exact, and a first down with Williams in the backfield now. Give it to him. Jamal Williams around the end. Williams lowers the shoulder. We get a penalty flag at the end of the run. Let's see what this is from Tony Corrente, our referee today.
Holding, offense, number 69, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's David Bakhtiari, the left tackle.
2 years second-team All-Pro. Okay, so right there is Bakhtiari, 69, and he's getting out to that second level, and he reaches out, and yep, he grabs him right there as he's going for Eric Kendricks, number 54. It actually was much more of a running out to tackle him than it was to block him, and the officials detected it.
Pam Oliver tells us they're working on Sheldon Richardson's calf right now. You know, it's so hot out, it could be a cramp. So we'll see. It's 80 today. Here's Allison on the catch. And Geronimo Allison up to the 47. How many times you play Vikings, Packers in Green Bay and you're worried about cramping from the heat?
Rarely. Rarely.
And Richardson has played well the first 2 weeks as a Viking. As a matter of fact, Mike Zimmer told us, he said, I had a conversation with Richardson that said I hadn't seen that intensity and that effort in practice. I saw it in the game. It was great. He's kept it up today, and we'll see if he comes back in.
Yeah, he was a monster against San Francisco with half a sack and 8 quarterback hurries and hits.
Second down, blitz coming. Rodgers incomplete, and now flag. And considering the reaction from Ty Montgomery, that might be a defensive hold.
Okay, here comes Montgomery coming at you, number 88, and right there,
defense
Danielle
number 99
Hunter has got the left hand wrapped around
and
it.
an automatic first down.
And that impeded his progress into the flat. See, when they reach out and grab like that, Kevin, that tells you that their rule is as they rush the quarterback, if you see the back come in your area, you've got him. And Danielle Hunter realized he had him a count too late and just reached out and grabbed him because he was panicked that he might go by him.
But he kind of gave the penalty back after the Packers hold, so it resets first and 10. 5.5 to play here from Lambeau Field. near side. Davante Adams looking for a block. And there were just too many Vikings with Alexander making the tackle. Game break time. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, Kevin, if I told you a quarterback in the Carolina-Atlanta game would run for 2 touchdowns, would you say Matt Ryan? Look at him. From 8 yards out, not exactly the Elway helicopter, maybe a mini drone. 31-17. Atlanta on top.
I like it, Kurt. Maybe that catches on, the Ryan drone.
Who knows? You know, that goes back to his time with Kyle Shanahan, where he made him better movement quarterback.
It does. 2nd and 6. Montgomery on the run, darting forward. Going to be a 3rd down and short. With 4.5 minutes to play in this game. It's a 2-point game. Vikings have all their timeouts left, just FYI.
And the last time Green Bay was in the 3rd and short, it was near the goal line. And Aaron Rodgers killed a pass play on an audible and ran it inside with Jamal Williams and was stuffed. I fully expect him to throw the ball in this situation here, because he's not trying to defend a 2-point lead. He wants to extend it.
Third and 3. Play clock at 1. And Green Bay has to use their final timeout. Wow. So no timeouts remaining for the Packers with 4 minutes to go. Well, look, you get the Vikings and Packers together, you know it's going to be fun, right? I mean, this is some rivalry. We had some action early, the block punt by Geronimo Allison, and then it was Josh Jackson, the rookie, on the recovery. Davante Adams, another touchdown. What else is new? He's got more of those than anybody the last couple of years. But Kirk Cousins has played really a great game here. His first ever start at Lambeau. Look at this last throw to Diggs. Perfect on the 75-yard bomb, and that's why it's a 2-point Packers lead right now with a huge play here. 3rd and 3. Packers with the ball from the Minnesota 41. And the special teams, yeah, it is a special game summary. It's been a huge factor. Remember, the Vikings missed a 48-yard field goal just before the half. That's the difference. Flag, and that is going to be on Green Bay.
False start, offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So Bulaga, right there, that's all it was. See it right there? Just that little extra movement and whammo.
So they used the timeout, and then you get the penalty. And now a 3rd and 8.
Vikings going to show pressure inside with their 2 linebackers, Kendricks and Barr, that double A-gap pressure.
Play clock running down, blitz is coming, Rodgers on, get the first down! They beat the blitz again, it's Geronimo Allison.
So right there, you got the 2 linebackers showing the double A-gap pressure coming up the middle, but they vacate it, and in the vacated area comes Geronimo Allison, number 81. You see Barr, he goes outside. Kendricks drops out, and right down the middle, where the linebackers ordinarily are, Rodgers finds Allison for a big first down.
Sure is. 3:20 to go in the game.
High five! 319!
Williams to run it. Right side, Barr gets him down. And Williams is down to the 30. Packers are obviously in field goal range already, and Mason Crosby is at all 3 of his attempts today. The Vikings do have 3 timeouts.
And I know Green Bay has exhausted theirs, correct? But Aaron Rodgers now will manipulate the clock and take it all the way down and try and get the Vikings to eat up their timeouts as well as possess the ball. At worst, he wants 3 out of this drive.
Randall Cobb in motion. Play clock again winding down. Running. much is there. Harrison Smith on the takedown, and the Vikings will call their first timeout with 2:24 to go. Charles, this week on Thursday Night Football, Sam Darnold and the Jets taking on the Browns exclusively on NFL Network. And then week 4, Fox becomes a new network home to Thursday Night Football, Vikings and Rams. So that should be a good one. Darnold trying to bring the Jets back. They were down 20-0. It's 20-12 right now in the 4th, by the way. In that game, Browns are tied with the Saints in New Orleans.
I think it's a very intriguing game in so many ways to see what the Browns are going to do. Hard knocks. And of course, what you mentioned, if Darnold's able to pull this one out today, the boy King will be anointed after 2 weeks. Let's see what Aaron Rodgers decides to do here. Trying to get the Vikings out of their timeouts. Clock stopped at 2:24. If they stuff them here and use another timeout, the Vikings could be in pretty good shape.
They line up Jamal Williams in the slot in the bottom of your screen. Empty set. 3rd down. Rodgers. Pressure up the middle. He's in trouble. Throws it away just barely. He couldn't take a sack. It would have knocked him out of field goal range. Somehow he got rid of that.
There's a discussion between Tony Correnti and Alan Eck, the umpire. I think they wanted to make sure it wasn't grounding. As you see, the excellent pass rush by Everson Griffin, 97 on David Bakhtiari. And a really terrific effort by Aaron Rodgers to get rid of the football and avoid the sack.
Well, you have to be outside of that tackle box, has to make it back to the line of scrimmage. I think he did both things.
And that's what Everson Griffin was questioning as well. Big field goal attempt here.
48 yards, put the Packers in front by 5. Snap and hold are good, and Crosby is good again. 4 for 4 from field goals on Mason Crosby today, and that's a biggie because that means the Vikings need a touchdown to win it.
There's J.K. Scott, the rookie punter, getting it down for Mason Crosby, the veteran kicker. He does what he's done so often here in Green Bay, pops it through the pipes. And there's Mike McCarthy, another subtle fist bump. And there's Mason Crosby, and there's Aaron Rodgers. Okay, can the defense do it now for me and my team? But I know he was a little disappointed because he didn't want to put his team in position where a touchdown can beat them.
Hey, the bottom line is Rodgers has been pretty great today playing. You know he's in a lot of pain with that. They wouldn't even call it anything. It's likely a pretty bad knee sprain playing with that brace. But now it's on Kirk Cousins, the $84 million man. Can he win a late one here in Lambeau?
Yeah, and I know that the Vikings just gave up the field goal there, but they actually did a nice job of clock management themselves. Turned the ball back over to them with over 2 minutes to go. They'll get an extra timeout with the 2-minute warning, and you just nailed it. This is why Kirk Cousins was brought here, and this is his moment to make a true statement to the Vikings and their fans that they've got their quarterback.
He's done it before, but now he's doing it against the Vikings' main rival in a packed Lambeau Field. Four-man rush. Cousins intercepted. Clinton Dix has got it. It looked like it went right through Treadwell's hands.
And it did. And it did. I mean, people are going to look at Kirk Cousins. Could you mount a drive? I don't think the ball could have been thrown much better than that. And poor Laquan Treadwell, I think that if you are Stacy Coley and Brandon Zylstra, his backups, I'd come ready to go next week. I think they're going to get an opportunity.
Here's the thing. There's still 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning, Charles. So if they can hold to a field goal quickly here, still get a last-ditch effort.
Ball security for Green Bay is paramount.
All right, Williams.
Not yardage.
Williams will run it, and that will take it down to the 2-minute warning. Green Bay trying to salt this game away. Up by 5. Packers defense makes a play when they needed it most. Clinton Dix with the pick. Cousins says, we'll get him next time. First turnover of the game. Clinton Dix with a big interception off a tip ball. Laquan Treadwell right through his hands. But this game is not over. The Vikings have 2 timeouts left. Packers are up by 5. So if they hold them to a field goal here, they'll get a shot. Rodgers going to throw it, though. On the fake. Rodgers throwing. End zone! Touchdown! No, they say incomplete. Devontae Adams, it looked like he had it. Let's see.
Really, look at Eric Kendricks not giving up on the play, keeping his hand in there. But if I'm Green Bay, I challenge it.
Oh, 100%.
I challenge it. What do you have to lose at this stage? I challenge it whether it's a catch. So it's a booth replay, so they can't challenge. So hopefully, let's see if the booth's going to take a look at it.
Well, I'm not sure if he ever fully, looking at that, if he ever fully had it. It looked like our initial reaction. He certainly did, but
right in the breadbasket. I think what the replay is saying is that, they saw it moving with his hand on the football.
And now we get a penalty, a delay of game, which maybe gives a chance for the booth to look at it. Dean Blandino is with us from LA. Dean, take us through this whole scenario, please.
Yeah, so the receiver's going to the ground, and he has to maintain control. There's no football move. It looked to me when he hit the ground, the ball came loose. He didn't maintain control. So I think this is a good ruling of incomplete.
Dean, a question for you. We had a situation in one of the games last week. It was the Patriots-Texans game where the booth did not look at something inside 2 minutes, and people were saying that Bill O'Brien should have taken a timeout. You think Green Bay may have never, you know what? They're going to run a play. I was going to say, I wonder if they took that penalty to let the booth look at it. Dean says incomplete. That is the ruling. Dean, thank you. Here's Rodgers. Rodgers going end zone again. Incomplete. And Adams wants a call on Rhodes. But what that means is the clock stops, 1:49 to go, and the Vikings have 2 timeouts left.
Watch to the bottom of your screen, 29 in white, 17 in green. They're pushing and shoving with each other. And that was very much an official saying, you 2 kids figure it out. If you're going to put your hands on each other, I'm not throwing the flag on that play. And see, I would have challenged if I was Green Bay if they had the opportunity, because you had nothing to lose. But it was inside 2 minutes. They didn't have that opportunity.
And it's incomplete. And now Crosby will attempt a field goal to make it an 8-point game. Crosby has 5 field goals today. A 36-yard field goal for Crosby. It is an 8-point game, but Minnesota has a lot of time left here. 1:45 and 2 timeouts. Back to the interception, though, Charles.
Listen, this young man, Laquan Treadwell, former first-round pick. If you're from the left side of your screen, he runs a slant, and the ball is perfectly thrown, and it goes right through his hands to Clinton Dix, who returns it and sets Green Bay up for the field goal you just saw from Mason Crosby. But this is a young man who's really struggled in his years at Minnesota, his 3 years. 21 catches coming into this season total. 2 drops in the season opener. A drop earlier in this game. But look at Kirk Cousins, who never shied away from throwing him the ball today. Showing great leadership, trying to comfort the young man and tell him, let's get him next time. My question is, will he get on the field this drive? I would say no, because I just don't know where his head would be at this point. He had a really strong reaction after missing that one.
Reminder, coming up next, we'll have some bonus coverage of the Eagles at the Bucs. That one going down the wire. Eagles trying to come back here. It's an 8-point Packers lead, but because Green Bay threw it twice, Minnesota saved their timeouts. They've got an eternity of time here. 1:45 and 2 timeouts. They obviously need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
So the question is, can Kirk Cousins lead a team in the last 2 minutes? It gets a second opportunity, and this one would be even better, as you said, down 8 now.
Mason Crosby, by the way, tied his career high with 5 field goals. He's been money today for the Pack. Eagles were down in that one. They're got the ball, I believe, down by 6. Keep you updated there. Stacy Coley is back to return this one if the kick comes up a little short. And this is the opposite of short. Let's get a game break with Carissa Thompson.
The roller coaster of emotions continue for Browns fans. Here we go. They were down by 6, late fourth quarter, 4th down. Tyrod Taylor, 47-yard touchdown pass to rookie Antonio Callaway, but they would miss the extra point. So we're tied at 18. The Saints' ensuing drive, guess what? Will Lutz, 44-yard field goal is good. Saints win this one, 21-18. Kevin?
So, Carissa, they missed the extra point here, gets them beat. Last week, they could kick a field goal to win it.
Oh, my.
Gets it blocked.
Laquan Treadwell is not on the field, as you call, Charles. Stacy Coley is bottom of your screen. Fasten your seatbelts. 1:45 to go. Cousins, pressure, lets it fly, going deep for Coley. It's intercepted. Alexander ran the route for him, and he picked it off, and that'll seal the deal. Hold on, there's a penalty. Back by Cousins. Wait a second.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 52. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Charles, the same thing happened to Matthews last week against the Bears.
That's exactly right. They had a chance to close out Chicago earlier, and on a 4th down, he roughed Mitchell Trubisky. Here, he gets Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
And again, it's going to be, what is the definition of roughing? You mentioned earlier about being able to grab the legs and pull them up, and is that the illusion and that's the issue? That's going to be the question I would have going into the league office. It wasn't late. He was there on time. Is that truly roughing the quarterback?
I'm not sure how you're supposed to tackle him, to be honest. It's obviously an enormous play. 15 yards on a first down out at the 40 now. Cousins. Dump it off to Cook, who gets belted, and that is almost intercepted. This game has turned bananas the last few minutes. Wilkerson somehow almost ended up with that. Dean, please tell us about the penalty, good or bad on the call.
You know, I think there's a little bit more here than the one they had on Rodgers earlier. But again, is he really landing with all or most of his body weight?
The answer is no, Dean.
I think he lands more off to the side. I just think that's such a big part in this situation. I'd love to see them let that go.
Agree with you. Thanks, Dean. 2nd and 10. Cousins. Pressure up the middle. Coming near side. Good throw. And it's complete to Thielen for a first down. And he stops the clock. Boy, Josh Jackson. I think it was Josh Jackson who got up there, but
watch 37 in green drop into the short zone, and that ball goes just over his hand and right to Adam Thielen. A perfectly thrown football by Kirk Cousins.
Laquan Treadwell is back on the field after that drop before. He's at the top of your screen. Fascinating to see if he makes a difference here. 1st and 10. 1:26 to go. 4-man rush. Cousins steps up. Looking. Now he's just going to tuck it and run, and he'll escape out of bounds and pick up a few yards to stop the clock. 1:19 to go.
And he's going to go off the field now. Stacy Coley coming back on the field may have needed a blow. I'm surprised to see him come back on the field in that situation. I think he just needs a reset, Kevin. Yeah, start over again at the end of this week. But the Packers playing with a lot of defensive backs on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
Cousins, blitz coming. It's picked up. He throws. It is complete over the middle. And they'll keep on moving. With 1:07 to go. They're not using their timeouts here. It's another first down. Stephon Diggs is the man lined up at the top of your screen. He's got 2 touchdowns already today. 53 seconds left. Near side, Cousins. Coley! That one was almost picked off. My goodness.
Almost a carbon copy of the Laquan Treadwell tip ball. Watch Coley run the inside route. And as he reaches for it, it goes right through his hands. And it came with such heat that Jair Alexander wasn't able to react and make a play on the football. The Vikings receivers will spend a lot of time on the jugs machine, the catching machine this week.
46 seconds to go. 2 timeouts, Minnesota. They need a touchdown and a 2. Cousins, far side. Rudolph has the catch out of bounds at the 28. Going to be a 3rd down and 42 seconds to go. Kirk Cousins over 300 yards passing now. 3 touchdowns and the interception.
Something you identified earlier in the game is that Mike Pettin, the defense coordinator at Green Bay, was not shy about taking his young cornerbacks and blitzing them. Does he bring pressure here to get the ball to Kirk Cousins' hands a lot quicker in this spot?
Play clock at 2. Cousins over the middle, and he's got a completion, and he's got a 1st down. Will they call a timeout here? It's Thielen. And they will. With 36 seconds to go in the game. Want to remind you to stick around for the State Farm post-game show. That's coming up right after this. Down to the wire here in Lambeau Field. Along with Pam Oliver and Charles Davis, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. 37 seconds to go. 1 timeout for Minnesota. And keep in mind, not only the penalty on Matthews, but the Packers did not run the ball before Crosby's last field goal. They passed it twice, saved Minnesota 2 timeouts.
Gave them the opportunity. Squandered 1 with the interception with Treadwell. Got the 2nd one going now. Remember, Green Bay is playing with a touchdown lead. If it was only a field goal, maybe more pressure from Mike Pettin. Looks like he's content to play coverage and make them dink their way downfield.
Cousins pressure, hit as he throws, going for Thielen. He's got it! Waiting for a single touchdown! Oh my!
Look at the concentration of Adam Thielen, 19. In between 2 Packers, ball's bobbling, takes it to his body, and goes into the end zone. Supreme concentration by Adam Thielen. And this is definitely a touchdown to me. Possesses it all the way through, and he is into the end zone.
But they need the 2 to tie.
Look for a bunch formation from Minnesota to try and spring someone free. Right here, you've got it with his primary receivers, 2 of them, Rudolph and Thielen.
They need this to tie it. Cousins going to throw it, fade to the end zone to Diggs. We are tied.
Say so.
So they show bunch to one side and allow Stephon Diggs to run a one-on-one route against Tramon Williams, the most experienced Packers cornerback. He fakes the slant and then goes upfield on him and creates great separation, beautifully thrown ball. You can't ask for a better drive there from Minnesota. How about an interception when you think that might be the game and still get one more opportunity and take it back downfield?
How about Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
He's been simply tremendous today. 340 yards, 4 touchdowns, and obviously they got a little help with that call on Clay Matthews, but man, that is something. Thielen with the catch, somehow through a double team. So what can Aaron Rodgers do on one leg with 31 seconds left and no timeouts? I'd like to welcome those of you who watched the Falcons beat the Panthers. What a great game here in Lambeau. Usually is when the Vikings and Packers get together. The Vikings just went on a monumental drive. The touchdown to Adam Thielen. The 2-point conversion is good. Adam Rodgers has played well on a messed up left knee with a brace on, and now 31 seconds left. No timeouts for Green Bay. Let's look at the touchdown first. This was something else.
To the right side of your screen, good pass protection for Kirk Cousins. Even at the end, he gets pressure but able to step through. But look at the concentration by Thielen between the two Packers. And then they show bunch formation of one side, allow Diggs to be one-on-one, and he wins that battle in a big way, and we've got a tie game.
Here's Rodgers. They're going to run it to Williams. He's got a pretty big hole out across the 36. And with no timeouts,
we'll see what their mentality is if he comes up and clocks it.
They will spike it. Well, look, it's not like Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown a Hail Mary before. I mean, I've seen that once or twice, and so maybe that's the plan here, try and get a couple quick passes and set up for that. Mason Crosby has had a career day. He's got 5 field goals. It ties his career high. His long last year, it was 50 yards. His career long, 58 yards, but that was a long time ago. That was 2011. Not sure if he's still got that range. We'll see. Rodgers rolling, looking, fire. He's got a completion, and now did he get out of bounds? The answer is yes.
They are one more quick pass away from Mason Crosby having an opportunity.
It's, what, 56 yards from here. I think they've got it now. There's 7 seconds left, no timeouts.
I think he takes one more shot to give him an opportunity. I know a lot of people would say kick it here, but just mentioned his career long was 58, and that was 2011. I think Rodgers takes the shot here to try and give him one more shot.
Only 7 seconds. And no timeout, so he can't get sacked or can't stay in bounds.
Minnesota's guarding the sidelines, too.
Rodgers looking near side. It's Adams. Gets out of bounds. He picks up a few extra yards. And this looks to be about a 52-yard field goal for Mason Crosby, who's already got a career-high 5.
And Minnesota was guarding the sidelines and still didn't get to him to tackle him and keep him in bounds. They had the defenders in both flats, and Green Bay still pulled it off.
Aaron Rodgers in under 30 seconds. Can Crosby win it? From 52, it is good! But hang on, a timeout! A last-second timeout by the Vikings. My goodness.
So we're going to do this again. I hope for Green Bay's sake, they hope Mason didn't leave it all out there on that kick. They hope he's got one more in him. Can Minnesota conjure up some type of pressure and a block from Mike Prefer, their special teams coach? Remember, Cleveland had a chance to win in the season opener and got it blocked and ended up in a tie with Pittsburgh.
Think about this. Aaron Rodgers went 41 yards in 27 seconds, and the first play was a run. We'll try it again. No timeouts for everyone. This for the game. Mason Crosby from 52 yards out. It is no good. Overtime, here we come. So whoever called that last-second timeout deserves a raise.
Look at the mechanics. Everything's correct for it. The last one snuck through on the left side. This one doesn't make its way back far enough. Had the distance, just pulled it a little bit left. I still go back to the last pass Rodgers threw with 7 seconds to go. Minnesota had people in the flats who were supposed to tackle people in bounds, still able to get to the sideline. If that kick goes through, they will rue that defensive play.
Honestly, amazing that they even got there with no timeouts when they started the drive with a run.
Gentlemen, we'll play one 10-minute overtime period. Each team will be allotted 2 timeouts. All replay reviews will come from upstairs. Each team will have 1 opportunity at the minimum to possess the football. Wish you both good luck. Minnesota, you're the visitors. This is a head, this is a tail. Number 97 calls heads. It is heads. They want to receive the football. Which goal do you want to kick? Minnesota has won the toss, and they've elected to receive.
Well, I hope you don't plan on going anywhere. We're going to overtime at Lambeau. We go to overtime. Mason Crosby missed a potential game winner from 52 yards out. Look at Minnesota, 22 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's a lot of points overall, 31 total in the fourth quarter. And we go to overtime with the Vikings winning the toss and getting a chance to win it here on their opening drive. And a good kick return out to the 30 by Holton Hill. And so Kirk Cousins. And a reminder in overtime, Vikings got possession. If this first possession is a touchdown by Minnesota or a safety Green Bay, it'll end right there. Otherwise, you keep playing even if it's a field goal. 2 timeouts per team. Every replay from the booth. Cousins has been phenomenal. 340 yards, 4 touchdowns. He brought them all the way back. Now trying to win it. That's in the fourth quarter alone from Cousins. We play in overtime. Pressure coming. Get it out to Kyle Rudolph in the flat. And he breaks through Josh Jackson's tackle. Good enough for a first down out across the 40. Minnesota trying to up the tempo here.
I think they're just going to keep attacking. You know, that last drive that they had went so well, and they have the momentum and get the ball right back. I think John DeFilippo keeps attacking Jair Alexander, the injured Packer.
You know, keep in mind, it's been an 80-degree day in Green Bay, so we've had some cramping issues. And we go back to the tying drive for Minnesota. That's a shoe issue, looks like, so no heat or cramping there. And I don't know how Adam Thielen caught this ball.
His concentration was absolutely paramount. And what an incredible route Stephon Diggs ran. And then Mike Zimmer, the timeout on the made field goal that would have won it for Green Bay by Mason Crosby, got it in time, so they had to do it again, and he pulled it a little bit left.
I wonder if Mike Pettin might come with some blitzes here. They've been playing coverage, and it has not worked.
Well, they were playing coverage with an 8-point lead, wanting Minnesota to leak it down there. He may come with more pressure here to force the issue.
1st and 10. Run it to Cook, left side. Perry there on the stop. 2nd down coming up.
And a lot of play action in these situations from Kirk Cousins. Some boots, half rolls, things of that nature to keep him moving around and not make him a stationary target.
Jair Alexander back in the game. He fixed his shoe on the fake. Cousins sees some pressure. Is going to get it to Cook, who's got some room. Cook into Packers territory. Dalvin Cook all the way down near the 30. There was just nobody there.
On the move, you mentioned the hot day, 80 degrees. Green Bay, a little bit on the run on defense. John DeFilippo goes with a little bit of attack mode and keeps it moving quickly. You mentioned the tempo being upped, and then he comes with the play action, rolls him out, and throws it back to Dalvin Cook for a big gainer.
So the Vikings already in field goal range. But remember, a field goal does not win it. If they settle for that, Green Bay would get the ball. But they are looking to win it. Cook to run it. Cook breaks off a tackle. And a good effort, but doesn't get much after that. Kyler Fackrell had the initial hit.
He had him dead to rights there and was able to slide off of him. Cook's shown that ability today to either make people miss or to run through the first attempted tackle, and he's down now.
And now Cook is down hurt. You know, we have to talk. We're talking about Kirk Cousins and his heroics and that drive, and it was a great drive. Not without controversy, though. On this play, Clay Matthews, as he gets to Cousins right here, is called for unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, see, I know that there will be an overreaction, and that negated an interception. And when I say overreaction, people say, oh, I don't know what a game is anymore. It's going to be sorted out as the officials get used to these new rules as well. I didn't think that was a penalty.
But the game was over.
Yeah, that would have finished it.
Give Minnesota credit. They took advantage.
They certainly did.
2nd and 9. They bring Latavius Murray in the game right there, number 25 at running back. Give it to Murray. Nope, it's a fake and way wide on the throw. Treadwell, they keep getting to him. Give Cousins credit. that there was miscommunication there. Perry might have even got a hand on the ball.
One thing about Kirk Cousins' personality, some quarterbacks would not throw it to Laquan Treadwell again today. He is saying if that's the guy who's open, he's going to get the ball and count on him to make a play. If you're Laquan Treadwell, you couldn't have a better response from your quarterback. That ball, of course, was off target.
Third and 9. Cousins firing incomplete. He went back to Treadwell again. A little bit behind him on the throw, and it's incomplete.
He goes where the guy is open, but in Laquan Treadwell's case, it doesn't matter at this point. That's why I was telling you before, Kevin, I would struggle to have him on the field at this point. I think he needs a reset.
This, a 49-yard field goal from the rookie, Daniel Carlson. He missed a 48-yarder today. This from 49 to give Minnesota the lead in overtime. And we get a timeout. Well, Mike McCarthy figured, hey, if Mike Zimmer can do it, I mean, I could call the last-second timeout here, right? I mean, this is the second game of the year. I mean, it feels like Vikings-Packers, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And that timeout, because if they miss it, Green Bay goes downfield and kicks a field goal themselves.
Right.
We go bye-bye, and they get to go home with a win. So that's why it was important in this situation not to let the 3 points get on the board.
So now pressure on the rookie. Special teams have played such a big part in this game with the block punt for a touchdown. Obviously, a couple missed field goals. Crosby, who's been great, but missed the one to win the game from 52 yards out. And now we will see what this kid has got. Daniel Carlson to give Minnesota the lead. It again. So any Packers score now would win it.
And when Daniel Carlson missed a couple in preseason, his special teams coach Mike Prefer said NFL kickers don't miss 2 in a row. Unfortunately for Daniel Carlson, there's another one. It'll be interesting to see what they do next week. I have a feeling they're going to try and trot him out there and give him more opportunities. But that was another big miss.
Can the Packers take advantage? Mike McCarthy, yep, that was wide.
He's had a big day signaling field goals, Mike McCarthy has.
So how about that? 2 timeouts at the last second. They both work. Now it's Aaron Rodgers, who's played hurt all day long. 28 of 40, 266 yards and a touchdown. Can he will Green Bay to a win? Back to throw, coming near side, and he's got a catch to Adams, who is at the 45-yard line. It's going to be a 6-yard gain. You couldn't be any better than Rodgers was last week in the fourth quarter, right? Playing on one leg, and you see what he did versus the Bears, 3 touchdowns. Pretty good today on one leg, Charles, in that fourth quarter. And now we're in overtime.
Hear coaches around the country telling their quarterbacks, look what Aaron does on one leg. Why can't you do it on 2?
Second down, they'll run it. Williams, good cut, first down. And he's holding on to it because he almost lost his football, Charles.
Ball security paramount. Eric Kendricks reaching and raking number 54, and he pops it, almost actually does pop it free.
Wow.
And good reaction by Jamal Williams to catch it on the bounce and bring it back in. He had 0 fumbles last year and 175 carries.
First and 10. In reality, another 10 yards puts you in field goal range. Rodgers fires. It is complete. Near a first down. It's Allison who's going to be about 1.5 yards short.
And he is fashioning a nice run with Green Bay as Geronimo Allison, number 81. The block punt today for a touchdown and some key catches from Aaron Rodgers. Supposed to be too slow to play in this league. A 4.67 guy timed. plays faster, plays bigger, and earned the trust of Aaron Rodgers' first training camp with his work ethic.
6 catches for 64 yards now for Allison. They give him 9 as a 2nd and 1.
Hey, yellow zone! Yellow zone!
Play clock at 2.
Ready, get up!
Williams. Oh, Rodgers keeps it and fumbles, and he falls on it. Didn't expect the zone read with a guy with a messed up knee.
No, so what I'm thinking is if he's keeping it on this, let's see. Yeah, he was keeping it. But I don't know that he was going to keep it and come running out there. I think he was keeping it, and then he had a one-on-one to the outside with Davante Adams, and he was going to make that play.
So brings up certainly an interesting down. Not only 3rd and 4, they really need those extra yards to try a field goal here. This is a long one. This would be 58 from where they are right now. Cobb in motion. Jimmy Graham, bottom of your screen. Vikings come with a blitz. Free runner. Rodgers sacked. Mackenzie Alexander on the corner blitz.
And I think that the pressure was able to get to him. All right, so Mackenzie Alexander out here. So when he comes rolling through, because they had shown all the pressure inside, and when the pressure is inside, that opened up a gap for Mackenzie Alexander, and he hurdled through it.
Well, that certainly takes him out of any field goal possibility. The 4th sack by Minnesota today. The blitz got home. Here's Hughes. Lets it go over his head, and it goes into the end zone. And so time obviously a factor in this overtime session too. 3:48 to go. Any score at this point would win it.
And both have had opportunities. Minnesota actually kicked for theirs. Green Bay had it, and then Minnesota's defense held and dropped them back out of field goal range. So now we're back to the original sudden death rules.
Yes, we are.
Any score wins it now.
Not sure if Rodgers is upset at himself or just in a lot of pain. Probably both. 1st and 10 for Cousins and the Vikings. Near side he comes to Diggs. Makes a catch. Makes a move. Stephon Diggs has a 1st down. Boy, is he good. He's had a big day today. Over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 1st down here.
I wonder if on this drive, Kirk Cousins actually breaks his own rules, because Laquan Treadwell is still in the ballgame, and he's been phenomenal. Kirk Cousins has, and if he's open, I'm going to throw it to him. I wonder if that changes on this drive. Diggs goes out. Here's Treadwell here in the slot.
Diggs comes out of the game for this play. He's got 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here's Cousins. Blitz is coming. Cousins sees it, unloads it. Is unreliable. On target to Adam Thielen. Into Packers territory and a pickup of 25.
Well, how about the protection to start with the Minnesota Vikings? Look at Latavius Murray, 25, step up and take on the linebacker. And then second to throw, a perfectly thrown football. How about this for accuracy from Kirk Cousins? Right over the top of Josh Jackson and right to Adam Thielen. All reliable himself.
Kirk Cousins has 412 yards. Thielen now 12 catches for 131. And the Vikings are closing in on field goal range. 1st down. Cousins far side. Rudolph is open, makes the catch. I guess the question, Charles, would now be what is field goal range with the rookie who's missed 2 today?
I think you want to get him in. You want to get him into the low 40s at worst. That's where you want to get it, the low 40s. So it feels like a shot for him that he's used to making. Everything else now feels long. But how about the last 3 throws for Kirk Cousins? Who did he throw it to? Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, his most reliable pass catchers in this situation.
It's been some game. Thielen and Diggs over 100. Cousins at 420 on the day. 2nd and 2. Fake to Latavius Murray. Here comes pressure. They get it outside and hit immediately as Diggs, as Jair Alexander saw that coming and made a pretty nice tackle. And so a 3rd down coming your way.
The Vikings have gotten the big plays off of that look earlier in the game. able to sneak Kyle Rudolph out, coming back across formation. This time they did it with Stephon Diggs, but Jair Alexander, a quick study as a rookie, made a nice play.
We have hit the 2-minute warning. Enormous third down coming, and a 3rd and 2, tied at 29 in overtime. You can't overstate the effort by Kirk Cousins today, but 3rd and 2, what do you do?
Yeah, 3rd and 2, I find one of my more reliables. I'm thinking Kyle Rudolph in this situation, whether they're doing it off a misdirection or finding a way to isolate him on a linebacker or maybe a smaller defensive back. He's the guy that I would find right here in this spot. Obviously, you can go to Diggs or Thielen, but for 2 yards, Kyle Rudolph is my #1 target.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that, but again, keep in mind, special teams such a factor in this game, and Carlson has missed 2 field goals, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying get him into the low 40s where it feels like it's makeable. Anything now, that longer kick, I think he's overcompensating and pressing at this point.
I mean, the thing is, he's got a monster leg, so this is well within his range where it is right now. This is a 58-yard field goal. He could make that. He made a 57-yarder in the preseason, but you just wonder where his mental state is here. We'll see if it comes down to him. It's a 3rd and 2 as Rodgers hoping for another shot.
Last time they went bunch, they isolated Diggs on the backside. This time Thielen would be the isolated receiver.
Cousins, quick throw, Diggs, they get it till 1st down, Minnesota. Rudolph leading the way with a good block.
You got to give John DeFilippo a ton of credit in his play calling, because you go back, right? They go bunch formation, isolate backside, and end up hitting Stephon Diggs. This time they go bunch formation, show Thielen on the backside, and run it to Diggs with 2 blockers out in front. Kyle Rudolph, 82, Treadwell, 11, who does a nice job getting in front and helping his teammate.
The Vikings were down 13 in the 4th quarter, trying to finish it off in overtime. Behind Cousins and a 1st down. Murray almost a mess up on the handoff, but Murray recovers. Latavius Murray running hard down to the 20.
Now you're okay with your rookie kicker because of distance. But how about this determined running by Murray? Kenny Clark pushed Brett Jones right back into the pile, and Murray bounced off of that pile, found the opening, and ran for excellent yardage before being brought down by HaHa Clinton-Dix. And look at Aaron Rodgers. He can't play defense as well.
42 seconds and counting for Minnesota. 2nd and inches. Murray again, up the middle, 1st down, keeps surging forward, making this an even closer field goal attempt.
And notice where he ran the football. What a veteran. Ran it towards the middle of the field to set things up for his young kicker. Now this is an opportunity for that young man to totally redeem himself.
I think at this point they're just going to let it down to about 4 seconds, call a timeout, and see if this is the redemption story, and that's what will happen. Daniel Carlson, it's been one to forget, but he could change all that with a make here, and it would win it for Minnesota. If not, we're going to end in a tie. He hit his only attempt last week. He's missed on both today. And here are his 2 misses.
And they weren't very close, which tells me that he's over kicking it. I mean, everyone who's a golfer at home knows the harder you swing, the less control you have. It's not an easy motion that we've seen on those 2 misses.
A 35-yard game-winning field goal attempt, but first Mike McCarthy will make the kid think about it a little bit more. And we'll take the Packers' final timeout. Cousins going to finish this game with 424 yards, 25 yards, and 4 touchdowns. 1 interception. I mean, there's been so much that has transpired since the last 5 minutes of the 4th quarter. You know, go back to this. Remember, Green Bay had the ball after the interception. They were up 5. They threw the ball twice to the end zone, and it allowed Minnesota to save their timeouts.
Green Bay decided to trust in Aaron Rodgers there rather than clock management as much. Try and get into the end zone. When that failed, they kicked the field goal at 8 points, left the door open, as you noted, and Minnesota was able to take advantage.
So Daniel Carlson, it's all on him for a Vikings win. He missed it again. And we'll end this crazy game in a tie. Oh my goodness. A 35-yard field goal. And a tie game here at Lambeau. Wide right again.
Execution was fine. He just pushed it to the right for the third time.
29 all. This one ends in a tie with the Packers and the Vikings. Back to Lambeau with us in a moment.